Chapter 1240. Shin Chen was recording a show. This was a very popular variety show, a reality show with many people. At this time, she was playing games in a park with several stars of the variety show, and many cameras were recording next to them. In order to show the authenticity of the show, the whole show was broadcast live. The sun was strong, and Shin Chen asked her assistant to hold an umbrella for her, so that her skin would not be sunburned. Shin Chen was still the same Shin Chen. After she recovered her popularity, she was still arrogant. But for her fans, they were already used to her temper. Only this arrogant young lady was the Shin Chen that they liked the most. For this reality show, as long as Shin Chen was a vase, it was enough. But Shin Chen just had to shine in this kind of reality show. She was obviously a weak woman, but she could always play ace in the game. For example, she could easily guess where the other party was hiding when she tore the name tag. And no matter how tall the other party was, Shin Chen could always easily tear off the other party's name tag. Therefore, Shin Chen also had a nickname, which was Ace Chin. Only she knew that this was some magical ability that she had inherited from a so-called god. With this ability, she was invincible in reality shows. But today was not the same. Shin Chen had finished the game and was watching the show with an umbrella. At this time, a man suddenly broke into the filming set, ignoring the staff around him, and walked directly in front of Shin Chen. Several staff members of the film crew rolled up their sleeves and were ready to deal with the guy. But the director suddenly stopped them. Damn, who was this guy? It was Li Fan. Who was the most popular person in the country now? Was it these stars? No. It was Li Fan, the little tyrant who defeated Takeda. This guy was already an influential figure. It was said that the court had been summoning him recently, but he did not show up. But now he came to the filming site of a reality show. This was big news. This could bring high ratings to the reality show. It was really a big deal. Many people had begun to go crazy, and there were even many fans of Li Fan, screaming at Li Fan. Although Li Fan was not very handsome, only at the level of delicate. However, his unique temperament as a martial artist made him stand out, attracting the adoration of many young ladies. When Shin Chen saw that Li Fan had arrived, he was stunned at first, then he was somewhat happy, but he immediately frowned. She roughly knew what Li Fan was here to ask. In Shin Chen's heart, Lu Wan-er was only Li Fan's senior sister. However, from the looks of it, he seems to be in a hurry. Shin Chen. Li Fan walked straight towards Shin Chen, but Shin Chen's gaze was somewhat evasive. Tell me, where did Lu Wan-er go? How would I know? Shin Chen still did not dare to look into Li Fan's eyes. Don't beat around the bush. Tell me. Li Fan was furious. The surrounding staff also found out who this man was. They did not dare to stop him, but they were afraid. This was the little tyrant, Li Fan, the #1 in internal martial arts. If the director hadn't stopped them, they would have been beaten to death. Why are you so agitated? Shin Chen also glared at Li Fan. Although your relationship with Wan-er is not bad, she is only your senior sister, right? She is very capable and can help you manage the company, but she told me that when she left, she had already informed the company, so it will not affect you. She is my girlfriend. Li Fan did not hesitate and directly poked through this layer of window paper. Shin Chen was suddenly dumbfounded. She felt that her worldview was collapsing. It was obvious that she liked Li Fan first. How did it become Wan who made the first move? Her best friend suddenly fell in love with the man she liked. This matter, Shin Chen found it a little hard to accept for a while. You guys. How long have you been dating? quite a long time. Li Fan did not hide, probably since the establishment of the company. Shin Chen's ears were buzzing, her vision went black, and she only felt that everything seemed to collapse. Li Fan said something else, but she couldn't hear it clearly. Shin Chen. Li Fan suddenly shouted loudly, startling Shin Chen awake. If you have anything else to say, tell me where Lu Wan is. Although it is very sudden, I still have to persuade you. Shin Chen took a few deep breaths to calm herself down. She looked at Li Fan with a complicated gaze. Give up on Wan, it is impossible for you. Why? Why can't we? Li Fan asked. If you want to know, go to the US to find her. This is Wan's number in the US, you can call her when you get there. The US is so big, where exactly? Although he wanted to establish a company, it was more important to bring back the person he liked. Los Angeles. Shin Chen gave him a direction, go, the sooner the better. If you are late, you may not be able to find her. Why? You will know when you get there, I don't want to say more. Shin Chen waved her hand, let me calm down, Li Fan. Calm down my ass, you just focus on the film, goodbye. Li Fan turned around and left, not caring about Shin Chen's thoughts at all. He only cared about Lu Wan's matter now, the rest would be put aside. ALX, help me book the nearest ticket. Li Fan took out his phone and told the company's assistant, the sooner the better, I am in Hangzhou now, I have to fly to Los Angeles. Oh, okay, Director Li, I will book it for you. The assistant was a woman in her 30s, smart, and always handled these things well. Soon, the other side of the phone gave a reply. Director Li, the nearest flight is at 10 p.m., direct to Los Angeles, do you need it? Okay, I will take this one, help me book the ticket quickly. Li Fan looked at the time, it was past 1:00 in the afternoon, there was still some time before the flight took off. Li Fan was burning with anxiety, rushing to the airport now. But as soon as he arrived at the airport, he was stopped by several Imperial guards. Officer Li, I am sorry, you can't go abroad now. These Imperial guards stopped him, not letting Li Fan pass the security check. What do you mean? Li Fan frowned, I don't even have the right to personal freedom. You are now suspected of a murder case, so you can't go abroad. These Imperial guards had no intention of letting him go. Li Fan was furious and was about to scold them, but his phone rang first. Li Fan picked it up and heard that it was General Ran. Li Fan, are you going abroad? General Ran's shout came from the phone, sounding a little anxious. Chapter 1241. Yes, can't I? Li Fan sounded annoyed. Why don't you just throw me in jail? My ancestor. Your identity is too sensitive now. You're not allowed to leave the country, not to mention the case. Even if you're overseas, the airport won't let you land on a plane. Now, all the countries have issued a ban on you, forbidding you from entering the country. Ha, interesting. Li Fan sneered. Do they think they can stop me? Li Fan's escort agency had opened up many routes. Although it had not reached the level of connecting the entire world, a big country like America still had routes. Since he could not fly there, Li Fan decided to take the escort agency's route. Li Fan. Aren't you preparing to establish a sect? Why are you going to America all of a sudden? Something happened. I have to go. Li Fan had already sent Xia Yi, Guan Wenbao, and Yan Kai to Seven Knights sect in advance. In the future, the escort agency's headquarters would be set there as well. Now that the escort agency was on the right track, there were also some decent escorts under them. Guan and Yan were rarely used for escorting goods. Li Fan just happened to ask them to help with the matters of the sect. The two of them would be the left and right guardians of the sect. Alright then, I don't think I can control you. But don't make it too big, or it won't end well for everyone. I'll try my best. Right, General Ran, can you help me check something? Sure, who do you want to check? Help me check. Lu Wan from G University. Li Fan said after a moment of silence. Oh, sure. Wait a moment, I'll send you her information. With that, General Ran hung up. Li Fan contacted Xia Yi and asked her to arrange a ship to America. The escort agency usually took the sea route to America. It was safer that way. Even some trading companies sometimes liked to hire people from the escort agency to escort them. After all, in a place like Somalia where pirates were everywhere, the experts from the escort agency were sometimes successful. The pirates had also learned their lesson. When they saw a ship with an escort agency's flag, they would try their best to avoid it. After all, it was just a robbery, not a death sentence. Xia Hao quickly arranged for a freighter for Li Fan. The freighter was carrying goods to the United States. With the speed of a ship, it was definitely not as fast as a plane. However, Li Fan had no other choice. He could only stand quietly at the bow and endure the anxiety in his heart. The rippling blue seawater below seemed to have a strong attraction for Li Fan. This was probably because he had absorbed a dragon in his body. Li Fan even felt that he might have become a master swimmer. However, he was not in the mood to experiment. Li Fan just wanted to get Lil Wan back as soon as possible. Chief Escort, there's a call for you. An escort walked over. He was 1.8 meters tall and had short, spirited hair. He was wearing the uniform of Phenomenal Escort Agency, with a shield on his back and a saber hanging from his waist. He handed over Li Fan's freshly charged phone to him. Thanks. What's your name again? Li Fan asked casually as he turned on the phone. Chief Escort, my name is Big Feet. Big Feet. Li Fan looked down and saw that the man indeed had a pair of boat-like feet. Nickname? No. We call each other by our code names. It's more convenient this way. The escort was probably a young man less than 30 years old. He looked at Li Fan with admiration. When he heard Li Fan's question, he hurriedly explained. Chief Escort, just call me Big Feet. If there's anything you need, just tell me. How long until we reach the United States? Another day. Big Feet estimated. I've traveled this route more than 100 times. I know it like the back of my hand. Are you familiar with the United States? To tell you the truth, I studied in the United States before. Big Feet chuckled. That's why the agency put me in charge of this route. I'm familiar with it. I see. Li Fan nodded. He glanced at the information on his phone. It was the information sent to him by General Ran. There was not much detailed information on Lu Wan, but there was a record that her father was Peter Parker, the eldest son of the Parker family in the United States. What's the Parker family in the United States? Li Fan raised his head and asked. The Parker family. That's the most powerful mafia in the United States. Big Feet was a little surprised. I heard it has a long history. This family has existed since the beginning of the American Civil War. The Parker family controls the economy of the United States, controls the Congress, and has been a puppet for several generations of presidents. Holy shit, that sounds pretty awesome. Li Fan was also stunned. It seemed to be a big family with a long history. How did Lu Wan become their daughter? Was Lu Wan a mixed blood? How did he not realize it? This girl, she's really good at hiding things. Li Fan was especially impressed. This Lu Wan was indeed a talent. Her ability to hide her identity was amazing. "Chief, why did you ask about the Parker family?" Big Feet asked in a low voice. "This Parker family is a taboo topic in the United States." "What? Isn't it just money? Can't I mention it?" "In China, doesn't everyone like to make fun of Jack Ma and Wang Jianlin?" Li Fan was quite disdainful. "The system is not the same. This United States is a capitalistic country. The big capitalists control the government. In addition, I heard that the Parker family is a vampire family." Li Fan originally wanted to sneer, but when he thought of the Dragon Clan in China, he held back his laughter. The world was big, and there were indeed many strange things. If China had the Dragon Clan, England had the Association of Magic, and the United States had some vampires, it would not be strange. But Lu Wan was actually a member of the vampire family. She was very normal. She ate and drank, and she did not drink blood. "Are you sure?" "It's just a rumor, but there is such a saying." Big Feet also said what he heard. Rumor has it that the Parker family is the descendant of the Dracula family. The first-generation patriarch, Al Parker, is still alive and controls the United States. There are always rumors. Every country has its own rumors. It would be quite interesting if I could witness the legendary Blood Clan. Li Fan smiled. There seemed to be some anticipation in his eyes. Regardless of whether the other party was a bloodkin or a werewolf, he had to find Lu Wan as soon as possible. At that time, he would kill anyone who stood in his way. He would definitely not lose Lu Wan. "Chief, is there anything else you would like to ask?" "No. When the time comes, just follow me to Los Angeles." Li Fan patted him on the shoulder. "Be a tour guide for me so that I won't be confused." Chapter 1242. A day later, Li Fan finally set foot on the land of the United States. Unlike the proud and traditional England, the United States was a country with a multi-ethnic culture. The huge number of immigrants had already washed away the native culture of the country. When Li Fan walked on the street, he saw all kinds of people, busy with their own business. But recently, he heard that the United States had a new president, who strongly opposed foreign people and wanted to build a high wall in his own country to keep other countries out, to ensure the purity and integrity of the United States empire. Under this policy, people of other colors were looked down upon and discriminated against in the United States. Welcome to Los Angeles. Standing under the bright lights of the city, Bigfoot smiled at Li Fan. "This is heaven, but also hell. Isn't that New York? Los Angeles is 10 times better." Bigfoot sighed. "I grew up in this place. By the way, our escort agency also has a branch here, but it's built in Chinatown, which is our territory." As Bigfoot spoke, a black shabby pickup stopped in front of them. A dark-skinned foreigner was sitting in the car, speaking English with a strange accent, and greeted Bigfoot. "Hi, brother, how are you?" "Mike, let me introduce you, this is my boss." Bigfoot pointed to Li Fan standing next to him, and then introduced the black man to Li Fan. "This is Mike, my brother who grew up with me, and my good friend." "Hey, friend, how are you? My name is Mike." The black man grinned, revealing a mouthful of white teeth. Li Fan was blinded by the brilliance of these white teeth, and thought to himself, no wonder there's black toothpaste, these black people's teeth are really white. "Bigfoot, your boss is so young." After Bigfoot brought Li Fan into the car, Mike could not help but talk to Bigfoot. "Don't be fooled by his young age, his strength is very strong." "Oh, stronger than your kung fu." "I don't believe it, you're already very strong. You alone can beat 8 Toms." Mike seemed to be very interested. "You're 10 times stronger than me." Bigfoot rolled his eyes. And don't always compare me with Tom, who is all brawn and no brain. Sorry, Bigfoot. How about this? I've gotten my hands on some good stuff. I'll let you have a taste as compensation for our friendship. Damn it, don't talk nonsense. My boss is still here. What are you afraid of? I'm speaking English. As Mike drove, he followed the rhythm of the music in the car. It seemed that driving could also be a very exciting thing for him. Sorry, I understand English. Li Fan, speaking fluent English, interrupted the conversation between the two. Oh, boss, sorry, I didn't know you could speak English. Why don't you have some too? Top quality goods. You idiot, Bigfoot was worried about Mike. What are you talking about? Drugs? No. No. Mike pulled a bag of yellow stuff out of the glove compartment. It's just weed. Li Fan guessed that marijuana had been legalized in the United States. He didn't know much about this, so he didn't know how to answer. Okay, Mike, hurry up and send us to Chinatown, then go home and smoke your weed. Oh, dear Bigfoot, you hurt my feelings so much by saying that. Mike pretended to be sad and looked at Bigfoot. Chief Escort, don't mind him. He's a retard. Bigfoot turned around and apologized to Li Fan in Chinese. Oh. What's a retard? Mike read out the word retard in Chinese. Li Fan was happy. It seemed that this black man knew a little bit of Chinese, but not enough words. Retard is the Chinese word for a good person, Wang Yao said. Bigfoot thought for a moment and answered Mike. Oh, so that's it. Bigfoot, you're also a retard. Your boss should also be a retard. Li Fan's face darkened. Bigfoot wanted to slap his own mouth. All right, stop talking. Hurry up and drive your car. Of course, but I want some of my little stuff first. Mike took out a cigarette from his leather jacket and stuffed it in his mouth. He was about to light it, but Bigfoot snatched it away. Are you crazy? Smoking weed while driving? My dear Bigfoot, don't worry. This bit of weed is nothing to me. Mike hurriedly explained, I'm very familiar with the roads in Chinatown. Even if I close my eyes, I can still get there. Stop bullshitting and drive carefully. I don't want to get into an accident. Bigfoot was so angry that he rolled his eyes. Oh, my dear Bigfoot, I really don't like this serious place. Mike changed to a more upbeat rap song and suddenly asked. Boss, are you in Los Angeles? Do you want me to introduce you to some pretty girls? In Los Angeles, you can find blondes, yellow-skinned girls like you, and even a black guy like me. As long as you have money, I can even find an angel for you. Don't talk nonsense. My boss is not that kind of person. Bigfoot hurriedly scolded him. I'm really here to find girls. Li Fan suddenly smiled. Bigfoot was very embarrassed. Look, Bigfoot, your boss is so honest. I like such an honest person. Boss, you're my friend from now on. What kind of girl are you looking for? Tell me. I'm looking for a Parker girl. Li Fan's words almost made Mike drive under the tires of the truck in front of him. OMG. Mike touched his heart, as if he was scared out of his wits. My dear Bigfoot. Your boss is too humorous, I'm not joking. I'm telling you seriously. Li Fan said word by word, what I'm looking for is the Parker family's woman. Oh my god, this is crazy. Hey, buddy, have you smoked too much weed? Hey, Mike, how can you talk to my boss like that? Bigfoot immediately widened his eyes. Although Mike was his childhood friend, the chief of escorts was his lifelong idol and role model. Mike, this kid, was getting more and more unreliable. It's okay. Li Fan patted Bigfoot's shoulder to calm him down. I know how powerful the Parker family is here. My God, it's more than powerful. That's the Parker family, the legendary Parker family. Mike pointed to all kinds of high-rise buildings outside the window. All the buildings here belong to the Parker family. God, Bigfoot, isn't your boss a bit too crazy? Looking at Mike's expression, Li Fan indeed saw a sense of fear. Chapter 1243. Although he had communicated with Bigfoot before, Li Fan was still very curious, so he tested the reaction of Mike, a local. The Parker family seemed to be very influential. But no matter what, even if the gods stopped him, he had to find Lu Wan. Li Fan was famous for his stubbornness. Once he decided on something, even 9 bulls could not pull him back. Dear Bigfoot, we've arrived at the human meat dumpling restaurant. Hearing Mike's voice, Li Fan looked out the window. Wow, it really was a human meat dumpling restaurant. This name was awesome. Would people really come here to eat dumplings? Li Fan looked inside. Oh my God, the dumpling restaurant was packed with people. Business was booming. He wiped his cold sweat. Good Lord, there were a lot of hardcore people. Chief, here we are. This is our branch. Bigfoot opened the car door and pointed to the side. Opposite the dumpling restaurant, there was a small retail store with a phenomenal logistics sign. This small store was really small. It seemed like it would take some time to enter the American market. Why such a small place? Hey, Chief, every inch of land in Los Angeles is worth its weight in gold. Especially in Chinatown, it's almost overcrowded. It's not easy to get a store like this. Bigfoot sighed, especially in Chinatown, there are a total of 3 Chinese gangs fighting for it. A Northeast gang, a Taiwanese gang, and a local gang. I don't need to explain to you about the Northeast and Taiwanese gangs, you should know. This local gang was formed by Chinese people who grew up in the area. Although they were the weakest, they had the support of other American gangs. The 3 gangs fight for territory in Chinatown every day. If not for my friendship with the leader of the Northeast gang, I wouldn't even be able to get a store like this. Then why do you need to open a store in Chinatown? Isn't it better to open a bigger store? Li Fan could not help but ask, it's not like we don't have money. Chief, you don't know about Los Angeles. The locals are very xenophobic, especially the Chinese. They are called the 3rd class here. The 2nd class is black, and the 1st class is white. We still have a place in Chinatown. It was too difficult to do big business outside. Especially after this term's president took over, our days have become even more difficult. I see. I understand now. Li Fan nodded and roughly understood the situation here. Just as Li Fan was about to follow Bigfoot into the house, the back door of the dumpling restaurant suddenly opened. A dozen Chinese people carrying knives and pistols rushed out. Lao Biao. Bigfoot couldn't help but shout when he saw the burly man leading the group. The other party also saw him and was a little surprised. Fuck, Bigfoot, when did you come back? The leader had a pockmarked face and a northeastern accent. He was holding a machete in his hand. We don't have time to drink with you. You can order something yourself. I'll drink with you when I get back. The pockmark-faced man looked like he was in a hurry, as if he wanted to fly away immediately. What's the matter? Tell me. There's no hurry. But Bigfoot was a serious person. He pulled pockmarked and refused to let him go. Fuck, I'm busy. That bastard Guanghui stole our goods. I'm going to kill him today. Why don't I help you? Bigfoot hurriedly said, you've helped me a lot. I can't leave you alone when you're in trouble. Chief Escort, why don't you rest here for the night and I'll find you tomorrow morning? Isn't it just killing people? I'll go with you. At this time, Li Fan couldn't sleep. He was worried about Lu Wan. Not to mention sleeping, he couldn't even eat well. Lu Wan's safety should be no problem. She was at home, so her life would not be in danger. Fuck, I forgot that you're also good at fighting. Get in the car. Pockmark didn't care too much. He opened the door of the van next to him and got in with Bigfoot. Bigfoot didn't dare to neglect Li Fan and invited him in first. The others sat in other vans. A total of 4 vans with more than 10 people drove toward the depths of Chinatown. This Chinatown was very long, and it was the largest gathering place of the Chinese. Sitting in the van, Li Fan looked at the surrounding scenery, the architectural style, and the various kinds of people. He felt like he was back in City G. Lao Biao, tell me, what's going on? Bigfoot asked while wiping his scimitar. To an armed escort like Bigfoot, who worked as an escort all year round, killing a person was not a big deal at all. The treasured scimitar on his waist was also polished until it was sharp and shiny. It was not a problem for it to cut a hair. Fuck. Lao Biao, with a face full of pockmarks, wore an ordinary red vest and blue trousers, and looked like a ferocious devil with a caliper hairstyle and a face full of pockmarks. That son of a bitch of the Guanghui stole my goods. This is the end of his life. A bunch of bitches, if not for the Japanese backing, how dare they play this trick on me? Chief, the Guanghui is the leader of the Taiwanese gang. It is said that they have the support of a Japanese gang. Well, the Taiwanese gang is backed by a Japanese gang, and the local gang is backed by an American gang. What about our Northeast gang? Li Fan was a little curious. Our backer is the People's Liberation Army. Old Biao cursed, fuck, you scared these bitches to death. Li Fan wanted to laugh, but out of politeness, he held it back. Bigfoot, who is this guy? Your younger brother. Old Biao looked Li Fan up and down. He only felt that he was a little familiar, but he couldn't remember who he was. No, this is my boss. Bigfoot hurriedly introduced, he came to the United States for business. He's a boss at such a young age. Is he from a rich family? Old Biao looked at Li Fan's outfit. He was wearing an ordinary white sportswear, and he couldn't tell the brand. Li Fan's sportswear was indeed not branded, but it was specially made for him by the Li Family Island Science and Technology Department. It was a set of nano clothes. The fabric of the clothes was soft and elastic, and it had a certain self-repair ability. Although it was not branded, the cost of this set of clothes was more than 1 million. It was very expensive. Moreover, the clothes came with a temperature control system. It was warm in winter and cool in summer. It could also switch colors and patterns, which was what Li Fan liked the most. With this set, he could directly copy the latest designs of others. It was very convenient. Li Fan had heard from Bai Lin Luo that the nano clothes would continue to be developed, and strive to make everyone have a set. In the future, if he wanted to buy clothes, he would not have to go to the mall. He could directly buy online. If there was something he liked, he could buy it online, and the clothes could be directly changed to what he liked. In this way, he could save costs and improve efficiency. However, in this way, he didn't know how many clothing factories would face closure. Chapter 1244. This kind of nano coat looked ordinary, and Lao Biao couldn't tell what grade it was. He curled his lips and asked one more question. Buddy, what are you doing in Los Angeles? Judging from your accent, you must be from the Northeast. Usually, I'll treat you to a drink, but not today. I have to kill a few people first. Brother Biao, you're welcome. Li Fan said lightly, I'm here to find a woman. Fuck, brother, you're too honest. Who doesn't come to Los Angeles to find a woman? When I'm done with this, tell me what kind of woman you're looking for, and I'll help you find one. A Parker woman. Fuck, Lao Biao shuddered, you're crazy. Seeing the look in Li Fan's eyes, Bigfoot didn't dare to say anything and swallowed back what he wanted to say. So, you're also afraid of the Parker family? Li Fan looked at Lao Biao with a smile. Lao Biao was a bit puzzled. This kid looked young, but why did he have an experienced temperament, like a big brother who had been fighting in the underworld for decades? It was really strange. Fuck, in this place, who isn't afraid of the Parker family? Lao Biao was very depressed when he mentioned the Parker family. You don't know, the Parker family is extremely xenophobic. They especially hate us yellow-skinned and dark-skinned people. They are pure white racists, and they're very powerful. I was just a lackey in Chinatown before. My big brother, Dalong, the boss of the Northeast gang, was extremely fierce and resourceful. He made Chinatown obedient. At that time, there was no Taiwan gang or local gang. These sons of bitches. Even the surrounding territory has been taken by my big brother. Several other local gangs wanted to fight with my big brother, but they were all defeated by him. And then the Parker family sent someone. I don't know what he was, but he alone killed all the thugs in my big brother's villa. My big brother couldn't escape. Really, I admire my big brother the most. In the past, when he was fighting, a gun was pointed at his head, but his face didn't change, and he talked and laughed with others. But that night, when he died, my big brother's expression was extremely frightened, as if he had seen a ghost. Later, when I became the boss of the Northeast gang, I didn't dare to provoke the Parker family anymore. When I heard that their family was a vampire, I treated it as a joke, but now that I think about it, I think it might be true. I see. I understand now. He had already heard about the Parker family from several sources. The fact that they were vampires was most likely true. But before he came here, he asked Bigfoot, and he didn't know how to find the Parker family, and he couldn't get in touch with them. However, since Lao Biao was so popular in Chinatown, he might get some useful information from him. Brother Biao, do you know how to get in touch with the Parker family? Brother, I see that you're also a playboy. Which daughter of the Parker family do you like? Why do you have to look for them? You have to listen to me, stay away from them. This woman can't be found anywhere. Isn't it all the same if she has 2 legs? Big brother will help you find 2 blondes and let you have a threesome. Thank you for your kindness, but I only recognize this one. Fuck, I'm advising you out of goodwill for the sake of Bigfoot, but you don't listen. Die if you like. Lao Biao's good intentions were rejected, and he seemed to be a little angry. Today, his goods were robbed, and he was already unhappy. Now, he met such a stubborn donkey. Brother, Li Fan stopped Bigfoot again. Brother Biao, how about this? You help me get in touch with the Parker family, and I'll help you destroy the Taiwan gang and the local gang. How about that? Since they were dependent on the Japanese and the Americans, then they were not considered Chinese, so Li Fan didn't need to be polite. Fuck, your mouth is as thin as cotton pants. How can you be so arrogant? Lao Biao didn't take it seriously at all. Sometimes, when he was drunk, he liked to brag. It was normal for this young man to brag. Why, Brother Biao, you don't believe me? Li Fan wasn't angry, and he asked slowly. I believe you. You destroy the 2 gangs, and I'll help you find the Parker family. Lao Biao agreed casually, and he didn't want to talk to Li Fan anymore. How did Bigfoot find such an unreliable boss? That's good. Li Fan nodded, very satisfied. He leaned on the back of the seat and closed his eyes to rest. Passing through the feasting streets, a few vans soon drove to the front of a big restaurant. This restaurant was called Man Han Restaurant. It had a total of 4 floors, and the decoration was magnificent. It was not an ordinary place at first glance. Fuck, go in and smash, and chop anyone you see. Lao Biao was furious when he saw this place. This was the base camp of the Taiwan Gang, a restaurant built by the Japanese. Lao Biao opened the door and got out of the car. Carrying a machete, he rushed to the entrance of the restaurant and kicked the door open. Some of the guests were eating inside. When they saw a group of fierce-looking fellows carrying machetes and pistols rushing in, they screamed in fear. They didn't even bother to eat and ran out of the back door. Guanghui, you scolded the neighbor. Get the fuck out. Lao Biao went in and cursed. A waiter behind the counter directly picked up a shotgun from under the counter and fired 3 shots at Lao Biao and his men. Bang, bang, bang. Shrapnel flew everywhere. Lao Biao was prepared. He kicked over a round table and used it as a shield in front of him. The other men followed suit and squatted behind the table, as if they had been through hundreds of battles. The shrapnel hit the table, leaving dents all over it. Many shrapnel were even embedded in the table. Kill this son of a bitch. Lao Biao said. He first held a pistol and fired a few shots outside. But the waiter hid behind the counter, waiting to continue shooting while changing bullets. From behind the railing on the 2nd floor, several waiters also emerged, all holding weapons. Some were pistols, and some were shotguns, and they fired at the people below. In the United States, the proliferation of guns was indeed a problem. In the past, there was a black president who wanted to control it, but found that he could not. Standing in the hail of bullets, Li Fan finally felt the feeling of a fierce fight between American gangs. Bigfoot, are you okay? With his hands in his pockets, Li Fan asked Bigfoot, who was standing beside him. Bigfoot was carrying a shield. Although he was a master, he had to hide behind a table at this time. It's okay, Chief Escort. Do you want to hide too? No, you guys hide. Leave it to me. Idiot, squat down, or you'll be shot into a sieve. Seeing Li Fan standing there, Lao Biao couldn't help but curse. You squat down, I'll do my thing. While speaking, Li Fan kicked the chair next to him. The chair flew up and smashed into the railing on the 2nd floor, breaking the railing. Several waiters who were leaning against the railing lost control and fell down. Chapter 1245. Lao Biao and the others were stunned and didn't know what had happened. This chair was estimated to weigh 20 to 30 kilograms. How could an ordinary person kick it? Even if he could, how could he kick it more than 20 meters away and 7 or 8 meters high? As for Li Fan, he stood there calmly. He stretched out his hand and used Dragon Catcher hand to grab the waiter who was hiding behind the counter and hold him in front of him. Tell me, where is the radiance? The waiter was cursing and swearing in a Taiwanese accent that he could not understand. You don't understand. Okay. Li Fan laughed and reached out his hand to poke the waiter's shoulder. Although he hadn't used the crane point for a long time, Li Fan hadn't forgotten the skill. At this point, the waiter immediately felt a severe pain, which began to spread from the shoulder and then wandered around the whole body. It was as if there were steel nails constantly drilling in the blood vessels, making the waiter cry out in pain. Eat shit! Another waiter suddenly appeared on the roof with a pistol in his hand. He aimed at Li Fan and was about to pull the trigger. Li Fan stood there motionless, but Bigfoot suddenly jumped up. He stepped on the wall next to him with Qinggong and jumped 7 or 8 meters high. The waiter was frightened. He subconsciously aimed the pistol in his hand at Bigfoot and fired a shot. Bang! The gunshot echoed for a long time. But Bigfoot raised the shield in front of him in time and directly bounced off the bullet. At the same time, Bigfoot waved the machete in his hand and directly chopped off the waiter's head with a knife light. "Can you communicate with him now?" Li Fan asked, holding another waiter. On the third floor, as soon as the waiter finished speaking, Li Fan launched the dragon-catching hand. The waiter's neck was broken with a crack, and then his body was thrown aside by Li Fan. "Let's go to the third floor." Li Fan put his hands back in his pockets and walked slowly to the third floor. Lao Biao was stunned and secretly asked Bigfoot who had returned to him. Who is your boss?" "Fuck, that's the guardian of China, the little overlord of Wulin, Li Fan." Bigfoot was full of pride. How could the strength of an idol be weak? Wouldn't dealing with these small fries be child's play? Li Fan walked up the stairs. He wanted to get rid of the Taiwanese gang and the local gang. That way, he would be able to get in touch with the Parker family. Kill him. The members of the Taiwanese gang kept running down the stairs. Although there were guns everywhere in the US, they were not something that could be found on the streets. Many of the Taiwanese gang members were still holding their machetes and shouting ruthless words as they charged at Li Fan. There were quite a number of them. They came one after another, and it was impossible to count them all. Li Fan attacked from both sides, executing the dragon-subduing terrace again and again. Every time he kicked, he would send a Taiwanese thug's head flying. Not long after, the stairs were filled with human heads, rolling here and there. Blood flowed down the stairs. Old Biao was scared out of his wits. This was a bloodbath in the restaurant. Li Fan quickly came to the third floor. This was the restaurant's office area, and Dragon Head Guanghui was hiding inside. At this time, a man in a kimono walked out from the room next door with a tachi on his waist. He was about 40 years old, with a ponytail and wooden clogs. He looked at Li Fan calmly. "Mr. Damu, it's this guy." A bald Taiwanese man hid behind, shivering and asking for help from the man in the kimono. "Don't be afraid, Guanghui. Leave this to me." The man called Damu smiled and looked at Li Fan, his eyes filled with disdain. "Just a sick man of East Asia. Defeating you is too easy." Just as he was about to pull out his sword, Li Fan had already moved slightly. A fist-shaped bloody hole immediately appeared on Damu's chest. The wall behind him was stained with blood, and it was covered with blood. Damu's eyes widened. Before he could understand what was going on, he slowly knelt down. His pupils dilated and he was dead. "All right, you can die for me now," Li Fan said and glanced at Guanghui. Guanghui was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He subconsciously took out a remote control and held it in his hand. "Don't come over. This place is filled with explosives. I just need to detonate it." Before he could finish, Li Fan had already appeared in front of him and directly pulled off his arm. The hand that was holding the remote control was still in Li Fan's hand. Guanghui screamed in pain. His eyes started to turn black. "Defecting to the Japanese, you deserve to die," Li Fan said and slapped Guanghui's head. Bang! Guanghui's head was directly smashed. Fresh blood and brain matter once again covered the wall. The remaining Taiwanese people were so scared that they cried. One by one, they threw away their weapons and knelt on the ground to surrender. How the fuck were they supposed to fight this? This was simply torture. Yes, Li Fan. Li Fan. Lao Biao suddenly remembered something and fiercely slapped his head. Why did I just remember? I saw it on TV a few days ago. At that time I thought it was a special effect. So it's fucking real. Guanghui has already been eliminated. The Taiwanese are no longer a threat. Li Fan flipped over and jumped down from the third floor. Lightly, he landed in front of Lao Biao. The next one is the local gang. Where are they? Big brother, you're too awesome. Lao Biao pulled Li Fan's hand and thanked him profusely. Logically speaking, you've already helped us settle the Taiwanese gang. The remaining gang can be dealt with by us. But since you want to get in touch with the Parker family, you really have to find trouble with the local gang. Why? Big brother, you don't know. The one supporting the local gang from behind is the Parker family. Lao Biao touched his head and said, this group of bastards are supporting the local gang from behind, making the local gang's arms stronger and making trouble in Chinatown. The local gang's leader is called Brother Liang, but he's just a puppet. The one who really controls the local gang is his military counselor, named Anthony. This Anthony serves the Parker family. As long as you find Anthony, you can smoothly find the Parker family. Since the Parker family is so famous, can't I directly find them? Li Fan asked. Big brother, the Parker family is very mysterious. Usually, they let a group of underlings do things for them. Their own family members never show up. If you want to directly find them, that's impossible. You have to start from the underlings. This family is really mysterious. Li Fan nodded and understood the situation. Well, tell me, where is the local gang? This local gang has a bar at the intersection of Chinatown and 9th Avenue. Lao Biao's voice became serious. They are different from us. This local gang has the support of a big family. Therefore, they have a lot of money and guns. It's not easy to deal with them. Chapter 1246. No matter whether it was easy or not, he had to do it. Li Fan wanted to find Lu Wan and take her back to China as soon as possible. No matter what the reason was, Li Fan would never let a woman leave him. Brother, this is the territory of the local gang. Lao Biao personally drove Li Fan to a bar at the corner of Chinatown. This bar had a very good appearance, hundreds of times better than the small retail stores like Bigfoot. It was a beautiful 3-story building with bright lights outside and a hubbub of voices inside. There were 2 white security guards outside the bar. Each of them was burly and had a gun hanging on their waists. When Li Fan walked over, the 2 security guards immediately stopped him. Stop, the Chinese are not allowed to enter here. The 2 security guards glared at Li Fan and scolded him. Oh. This is a place owned by the Chinese. Why can't the Chinese enter? Li Fan was not angry and asked with a smile. Fuck. You talk a lot. A security guard flew into a rage and reached out to push Li Fan. He was nearly 1.9 meters tall and had a strong physique. Normally, with a body like Li Fan's, he should have been pushed down at once. However, Li Fan reached out and grabbed the white security guard's wrist, then twisted it. With a crack, the white security guard's wrist was directly twisted. Then, Li Fan twisted his arm and pressed him to the ground. Then, he kicked the white security guard's temple and directly knocked him out. Li Fan's neat move surprised the other white security guard. Fuck you. He cursed and then pulled out a pistol from behind his waist and aimed at Li Fan. However, Li Fan turned around and kicked the pistol away. Then, he raised his leg again and kicked the security guard's head. In the dragon-slaying platform, the leg was lifted and the head fell. Li Fan's attack was accurate and effective, and it was a one-hit kill. Lao Biao was a little dumbfounded. The little overlord is really powerful. With him alone, the entire Chinatown would be conquered in minutes. Let's go and meet that Anthony. Oh yes, and that brother Liang. Li Fan pushed open the door of the bar and was greeted by a huge blast of metal music, which almost threw Li Fan out. Although she had been to a bar before, this bar in Chinatown was too noisy. It was far more noisy than the one opened by Imperial concubine Zhou. Who are you? The lights inside were flickering. A bartender saw Li Fan and the others enter and was very vigilant. No Chinese were welcome here. Even those damn local lackeys from Chinatown couldn't enter the bar from the main entrance. They could only enter the place where they needed to work from the back door. So all colored people are stupid pigs, they only deserve to be dominated by white people. Just in time. Li Fan stretched out his hand, and the bartender was immediately pulled over. He floated in front of Li Fan, a look of terror on his face as he struggled and kicked his legs. The bartender didn't know what had happened, but the feeling of death had come to him. Where's your boss? Li Fan asked coldly. His voice was very low, but it was clearly heard by the bartender. The bartender thought he had met the devil, and he quickly pointed out the boss's position. Very good, thank you. Li Fan put the bartender down and threw him aside. The bartender was lying on the ground against the wall. He looked at the back of Li Fan, and suddenly reached out and took out a pistol from his arms. Li Fan didn't look back, just turned his back to him, reached out his hand, and clenched his fist. Crack! The bartender's head was twisted 180 degrees, and he died. He's courting death. Lao Biao couldn't help curling his lips. Li Fan gave him a chance to live, but this guy didn't cherish it. The music in the bar covered the sky, and no one knew that someone had died here. Li Fan, on the other hand, started a secret war in the bar. He kept walking towards the place where his target was. Along the way, there were many white security guards who stopped him, but they were all killed by Li Fan. The equipment of these people was obviously much better than that of the Northeast Gang and Taiwan Gang. They were all armed with M1911 pistols, and some were even equipped with anti-terrorist submachine guns like MP5. Obviously, these people were well-trained and not ordinary gangsters. But even if they were carrying rocket launchers, Li Fan was not afraid. He quickly killed his way to the office on the second floor. Lao Biao followed him all the way, feeling extremely safe. It was also the first time for Lao Biao to enter this bar. He couldn't help being a little jealous of how much money this place made in a year. But thinking that this place would be destroyed soon, he put away his jealousy. No matter how much money he made, he had to be alive to spend it. Li Fan quickly walked to the door of the office. He raised his foot and kicked the door open. In this office, a middle-aged Wuxia man in a flowery shirt was sitting in the middle of a group of women, hugging them on both sides and taking drugs. He looked like he was about to go to heaven. Seeing Li Fan come in, he shook his head and said in a daze. Who is it? Come on. Let's play together. That's Brother Liang. However, from the looks of it, he should be crippled. Lao Biao sneered. How can you get addicted to drugs so easily? Others, leave. Li Fan ordered, I'll give you 10 seconds. With that, Li Fan gave Lao Biao a look, and Lao Biao immediately pulled out his pistol and gestured. Those girls were so scared that they ran away one after another. They didn't even have time to put on their clothes. Damn. It seems that I'm living a good life. Lao Biao slapped a girl's butt, and he couldn't help feeling jealous. Hey, why are you all gone? Come back, let's play together. God, Brother Liang shouted a few times in confusion. Fuck you. Lao Biao stepped forward and slapped him in the face, making him fly off the sofa and fall to the ground. Where's Anthony? Where did he go? Brother Liang was picked up by Lao Biao. Saliva dripped from the corner of his mouth, and he looked at him blankly. Anthony. Who is it? It's your father. Lao Biao raised his hand and slapped Brother Liang's face repeatedly. After slapping for more than 5 minutes, Lao Biao's hand turned red. Brother Liang finally woke up from the pain, looked at Lao Biao, and screamed. Lao Biao. Damn it, why are you here? He subconsciously reached for his pistol, only to find that it was already in Lao Biao's hand, pointing at his head. You're crazy. They're all my people. As long as I give the order, you won't live. Brother Liang shouted. Go ahead and shout. Lao Biao was amused. There were no other people here. They were all killed by Li Fan. Come. Brother Liang screamed for a long time, but no one paid attention to him. His face finally changed from red to deathly pale. Could it be that his own people were all killed? Chapter 1247. How about I do it? Li Fan was a little impatient. Hurry up. Lao Biao stuffed the muzzle into Brother Liang's mouth and pressed his finger on the trigger, or I'll blow your head off. Woo. Brother Liang howled a few times but couldn't figure out what was going on. Lao Biao pulled out the pistol and pulled out a front tooth. Brother Liang screamed in pain and blood flowed out of his mouth. Speak. Lao Biao slapped him again. And Anthony is picking up the goods at the 3rd pier. Brother Liang couldn't take it anymore. How could he bear this? Motherfucker, is it my batch of goods? Lao Biao's eyes were red. Brother Liang nodded. Lao Biao flew into a rage and slapped him a few more times. But he didn't seem to vent his anger. He stuffed the pistol back into the guy's mouth, put the muzzle against his cheek, and shot him directly. Bang! Flesh and blood flew everywhere. The man's face was shot through. He rolled on the ground in pain but couldn't die for a while. Li Fan stepped forward and kicked him in the heart, breaking his heart and killing him. Brother Biao, this is too cruel. I can't stand it. Li Fan's words almost made Lao Biao vomit blood. Damn it, you can't stand it. Your means are much crueler than mine. It seems that you have to lead the way. Li Fan looked back at Lao Biao. It's my honor. Lao Biao was very excited. I knew that the Taiwanese gang colluded with the local gang to mess with us. Damn it, they deserve it this time. Well, but I can only help you deal with these people in front of you. In the future, when I'm not here, you have to take care of Chinatown by yourself. Yes, brother, you're too awesome. If only I had 1/10 of what you did. It's said that there is a gap between people, but why can't I live like you, brother? My life is not easy. Li Fan smiled bitterly. Let's go to the 3rd pier. Is it far? It's not too far. Brother, big brother will take you there. Lao Biao now volunteered in all kinds of ways. He wished he could directly lie on the ground and let Li Fan ride him. Then I'll leave it to Brother Biao. Li Fan was polite to Lao Biao, which was obviously different from how he treated his enemies. This made Lao Biao feel lucky, but also a little scared. No matter what he did, he couldn't become Li Fan's enemy. Don't stand on ceremony with me. Lao Biao patted his chest. You've helped me so much. This is nothing. Let's go, I'll drive you. Lao Biao went out excitedly. In the future, Lao Biao would have the final say in Chinatown. Li Fan was obviously targeting the Parker family. If the Parker family was also dealt with by Li Fan, no one in Los Angeles could run to Chinatown to make trouble for him. A place like Chinatown should have been managed by the Chinese themselves. Li Fan was really a savior. He came at the right time. The two of them drove all the way to Pier 3. At this time, at Pier 3, Anthony was in contact with the Taiwanese gang. The Taiwanese gang got a batch of marijuana from the Northeast gang. Although this batch of goods was not worth much, for Anthony, the main purpose was to weaken the Northeast gang. In Chinatown, first weaken the Northeast gang, then get rid of the Taiwanese gang, and then drive all the Asians out. The United States should belong to pure white people like them. How could they let these people of other colors survive? They were all inferior people and did not deserve to enter the sacred land of the United States. To make the United States strong again, these inferior vermin must be driven out of this land. Anthony looked at the short Taiwanese second-in-command opposite him. He sneered in his heart, but did not show it on his face. "Have you brought the things?" "They're all here." The second-in-command was a little uneasy. He could not contact the headquarters now, and the leader did not answer the phone. Did they fight with the Northeast gang? That was possible, but the strength of the Northeast gang was too weak. They relied on their strength to fight. They were no match for the Taiwanese gang. As long as this batch of marijuana was sold, they would have the capital to buy more firearms and then get rid of the Northeast gang. Finally, they could join forces with the Yamaguchi-gumi to destroy the local gang. When that time comes, Chinatown would be the Taiwanese gang's world. These bunch of bumpkins from the mainland, did they deserve to live in such a good place like the United States? Quickly sell the marijuana, then bring some men to help the leader and kill those Northeast gang members. The goods are not bad. Anthony counted the goods. The quantity is enough. In the future, as long as it is the Northeast gang's goods, we will buy as much as you snatch. Happy working with you. The second-in-command was beaming. Another large sum of money had entered his account, and it was a transaction without any capital. Just as the two parties were about to complete the transaction, a beam of light from a flashlight suddenly shone on them. At that moment, both parties were a little nervous. They thought it was the police. But after thinking for a while, they realized that it was impossible. They had already bribed the local police. It was impossible for them to find this place. They looked at the light and saw two blurry shadows standing near the light source. One of them had a thick voice, full of vulgarities. It was very familiar. "Brother, it's this group of bastards." "Got it." An indifferent voice was heard. Anthony and the rest also saw who they were. Old Biao. It was the leader of the Northeast gang, Old Biao. Beside him was a young man. What were these two people doing here? Seeking death. Although the Northeast gang was a little reckless, their leader, Old Biao, was smart. To be able to reach this position, if he was not smart, he would have been hacked to death in Chinatown. At that moment, Anthony and the second-in-command had the same thought. Ambush. Kill them. The second-in-command was determined. Regardless of whether it was an ambush or not, he had to get rid of the leader of the Northeast gang first. A lackey beside him held up an M1 rifle, aimed at Old Biao, and pulled the trigger. This lackey was the right-hand man of the second-in-command. He used to be a sniper in Taiwan's military defense. He could shoot from 100 meters. In other words, within 100 meters, this lackey was holding an M1. He could shoot wherever he pointed, without missing a shot. However, he missed this shot. Old Biao stood on top of the container. Nothing happened to him. He was still cursing like a Northeast guy. "Damn you. You bunch of idiots. Do you think you can kill me? I'm not going to die. I'm going to curse you bunch of dogs to death. You snatched my goods. Your sons don't have an ass, and your daughters have a dick. You bunch of idiots. Dogs." Old Biao cursed in all kinds of ways. His eyes were red. Li Fan wanted to laugh as he listened. This old Biao had probably been suppressing his anger for a long time. Today, he could finally vent his anger. Chapter 1248. That's so weird. The second-in-command's eyes widened. How could my underling miss? He had seen with his own eyes that a cockroach 100 meters away was blown up by his underling with one shot. Make him shut up. The second-in-command was really annoyed by the man on top of the container, so he urged again. The underling was also a little depressed. He was ready to use this shot to turn the situation around. This time, he deliberately aimed at Lao Biao's heart. It was a big position, so it was not easy to miss. Gunshots rang out, and sparks suddenly appeared. The peaceful night was torn apart again. Lao Biao still stood there, shouting and cursing. However, the second-in-command finally saw some clues. The teenager who had been standing next to Lao Biao suddenly stretched out his right hand and held it in front of Lao Biao. When he loosened his grip, a glistening golden bullet was thrown out. The people below were all shocked. Catching a bullet with bare hands. Fuck, isn't this a bit cool? Shoot! Anthony furrowed his brows. He had also seen this scene. However, he did not believe that a Huaxia monkey could have this kind of power. He gave the order, and the 5 thugs in black suits behind him immediately took out P-90 submachine guns, aimed at the container, and began to shoot. But the teenager moved again. He stretched out his right hand and grabbed at the container below. The container, which weighed more than a ton, was forcibly grabbed by him and lifted into the air, blocking in front of the 2 people. Clang, clang, clang. Golden sparks flew everywhere. With the help of the container, none of the bullets hit them. Li Fan then flicked his hand, and the container flew out. With a bang, it hit those thugs. These thugs were also men, and they were extremely unyielding. They did not even cry out before they were smashed into meat paste. After Li Fan learned the dragon catcher hand, he had always liked to use this move. This move was convenient and useful, and it had a strong deterrent effect. At this time, the rest of the thugs, whether they were from the Taiwanese gang or the local gang, were all scared out of their wits. How can we deal with this kind of enemy? Isn't this a joke? They all covered their heads and fled like rats, not daring to be enemies with Li Fan. Since you're here, why leave? Li Fan had no intention of letting them leave. He continued to use dragon capturing hand, grabbing the surrounding containers and descending from the sky. Clang, 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 they landed around these people. It was as if he was catching mice, surrounding them in the middle. Li Fan crossed his arms and stood on top of the container, looking down at these guys who were like trapped beasts. Fight back with everything we have. Anthony berated, keep your spirits up and attack together. Maybe we'll have a chance to escape. Kill him. Ah! Die! A group of thugs were holding various kinds of guns and shooting at Li Fan. Li Fan pulled Lao Biao behind him and stood there, his body slowly covered with a layer of golden brilliance. Major 5 techniques, Golden Dragon True Body. He used his vital energy to form a shell to protect his body. When the bullets hit it, they could only create golden sparks, but they couldn't cause any damage. These thugs didn't have an endless supply of bullets, so they soon ran out. They were like crazy. Some cursed, some were desperate, and some picked up everything that could be used around and threw it at Li Fan. Li Fan waved his hand and dispelled his golden body. At the same time, he spread out his left hand. White frost quickly condensed on his palm and soon condensed into a palm-sized white ice sword, spinning. Minor 4 techniques, Dragon Subduing Sword. Li Fan's Dragon Subduing Sword shot out and directly hit the ground under the thug's feet. Paw, paw, paw. The white frost continued to spread, as if the temperature had plummeted and a cold current had invaded. Almost in the blink of an eye, the area surrounded by the containers had completely turned into a world of ice and frost. Everyone's body was frozen inside like an ice sculpture, vivid and lifelike. Anthony was also frozen there, but Li Fan took care of him and spared the part above his shoulder. "Who the hell are you?" Anthony was not stupid. Looking at his companions who had been frozen into ice sculptures, and then looked at himself, he knew that the other party had deliberately spared his life. Logically speaking, as long as the other party had a plan, he also had a bargaining chip. However, he was a noble white man, how could he yield to an inferior colored man? "Who I am is not important." Li Fan floated down and stood in front of Anthony. He looked at him with a gaze that was as sharp as a blade, cutting Anthony's body. "Tell me, where is Lu Wan-er?" "Who is Lu Wan-er?" "I don't know her." Anthony curled his lips. "Even if I know her, I won't tell you." "Is that so?" Li Fan stretched out 2 fingers and flicked the frozen statue of the second-in-command beside him. Bang! The second-in-command's body directly exploded into pieces. Ice flew everywhere, and with a crashing sound, it scattered around. Anthony's heart skipped a beat, and it didn't stop there. "I just want to break his arm." Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. "Sorry, my hand slipped." Anthony was stunned for a long time, and after a while, he asked, "Are you threatening me?" "Ah, you can say that." Li Fan smiled and agreed. Anthony was silent again. "I don't have much patience. Tell me, where is the Parker family?" Li Fan asked. "I won't be threatened by you, yellow monkey," Anthony said fiercely. You have courage." Li Fan was not angry. He stood there with his hands behind his back. From his neck, an emerald green bug suddenly crawled out. This bug was about the length of a finger, and its whole body was like jade, crystal clear, like a jade. Taking a closer look, he discovered that it was a tiny mantis. It was waving its pair of blades at Anthony, looking very impressive. It was obviously a small bug, but for some reason, it made Anthony's heart beat wildly, and all the hair on his body stood up. "Let me introduce, this is the jade mantis." This bug was one of Li Fan's 7 emotions and 6 desires harmony goo. The others were given to the girls, but this jade mantis, Li Fan kept it and raised it with his elemental energy. In addition to planting goo on women, the jade mantis also had other uses. "Go, little jade, accompany Mr. Anthony and have some fun." As soon as Li Fan's voice fell, the jade mantis immediately spread its wings, turned into an emerald green light, and jumped onto Anthony's shoulder. Anthony turned his head, but he could not see the jade mantis. He could only feel something moving on his neck, itchy and painful, making him panic. "What is this? Take it away. Quickly take it away." "Ah, friend, are you ordering me?" Li Fan smiled again, and his smile was full of a terrifying feeling, making Anthony shudder. For the first time, Anthony had a feeling of fear. If not for his lower body being frozen, he might have peed. Chapter 1249. My jade mantis is very picky about food. It only eats the best beef and mutton and doesn't even touch the watered ones. It's quite strenuous for me to feed it. If it only eats beef and mutton, I'll accept it. But it likes human meat the most. Li Fan said with a smile, "What's so delicious about human meat, especially the meat of you foreign devils? It's so smelly." Anthony's mouth twitched. He didn't want to give in to this yellow monkey, so he strongly suppressed the fear in his heart. "Xiao Yu, why don't you have a taste first? If it's not good, remember to spit it out. Don't dirty your mouth." Li Fan's words were full of humiliation. Li Fan didn't need to be merciful when dealing with this kind of racist guy. If he didn't need to get some information out of him, Li Fan would have killed this idiot long ago. Anthony felt a sharp pain in his shoulder, followed by a soft chewing sound. He wanted to scream, he was really scared. But he absolutely couldn't give in. In front of him was a damn inferior yellow man. How could he scream in front of him? Eat slowly, don't worry. Li Fan looked at his jade mantis dotingly, like he was looking at his lover. Someone told me before that the most delicious part of human meat is the piece of meat on the neck. Devil, you're a devil. Anthony's psychological defense had already collapsed. He screamed again and again, get this thing to roll off. Quick. Ignore him, Xiaoyu, eat your food. As soon as Li Fan's words fell, Anthony felt a piece of meat on his neck being torn off. He was in so much pain that his vision turned black. He wished he could just die. But he didn't have the courage to die, nor did he have the strength to resist Li Fan. Eat slowly, Xiaoyu, don't choke. Li Fan took out his phone and opened King of Glory. I'll play a round of King of Glory first and see if I can get to gold. Enjoy it. Although he didn't know what King of Glory was, Anthony thought it should be some kind of mobile game. Oh my god, by the time he finished the game, he would have been gnawed to the bones, okay? Stop playing, I'll talk. Anthony admitted defeat. Why didn't you say so earlier? I just started a game. Li Fan sighed. 20 minutes. I'll try to push it as fast as possible. The sound of the tiny mantids chewing on his flesh rang in his ears, accompanied by the excruciating pain of being torn apart. Anthony was on the verge of a mental breakdown. He wanted nothing more than to smash his head against the ground and die. But his lower body was frozen, and he couldn't even die. Biting his tongue to commit suicide. He didn't have the courage. I beg you, I'll tell you everything, I beg you, let me go, I beg you. Why would an inferior person like me beg me? Li Fan rolled his eyes. Wait for me to finish. I'm an inferior person who only knows how to play games. I was wrong. You are not an inferior person. You are an angel, God, the great God of creation. I beg you, save me, let me go, just treat me like a little bug and blow me away. Look at you, why are you crying? TSK, even your snot is coming out. You're so uncultured. Li Fan sighed. But I don't want to force you. Forcing someone is the most impolite thing to do. No, you're not forcing me. I'm the one who's being cheap. I want to tell you about the Parker family. Alright then, I'm a soft-hearted person who likes to help others achieve their goals. Li Fan nodded. Tell me, how do I find the Parker family? I'll bring you there, Anthony wailed. Oh great God, I beg you, give me this chance to work for you. No problem, I promise you. Li Fan nodded. It's decided then. Praise be to you. Anthony was so grateful that he couldn't wait to kneel down and give Li Fan 2 kisses. Li Fan was very satisfied with his attitude. He patted his head affectionately and then took back the jade mantis. Well, seeing that you're so eager, let's go quickly. Li Fan waved at Lao Biao. Brother Biao, I'll go with this friend first. You can go back to Chinatown. Okay, brother, leave it to me. Lao Biao was overjoyed. Now, Chinatown was basically no problem. It was awesome. Li Fan evaporated the ice on Anthony's body with his pneuma and sealed his blood vessels to prevent him from bleeding to death. After all, he was a person who needed help temporarily. Li Fan also threw him a rejuvenation pill to treat his external injuries. The jade mantis was also very measured. None of the wounds were fatal, nor did it cause massive bleeding. Wipe off the blood and let's go. Yes, sir. You're so kind. My admiration for you is like a surging river, continuous and endless. After getting in a Mercedes-Benz, Li Fan handed Anthony a towel. Anthony was so excited that he took the towel with both hands. He almost knelt down and licked Li Fan's toes. Brother, can you concentrate on driving? Yes, sir. I was wrong. Anthony quickly turned his head again and looked at the steering wheel. He concentrated on driving and did not dare to be distracted. I want to ask you something. Sir, please ask. My brain was born to serve you. Li Fan couldn't stand it anymore. Did I make this guy into a pervert? Well, you did well. Li Fan gestured to him. Tell me, is there really a vampire in the Parker family? Sir, I really don't know about this. Anthony quickly answered with a face full of horror. I'm just a small character. I only know one person from the Parker family. He usually arranges my work. I've only heard about the legend of the Parker family's vampires. I've never seen it with my own eyes. Well, it's okay. Don't be afraid. Then tell me, which one of the Parker family have you seen? His name is William Parker. Anthony answered without hesitation. I heard that he's an illegitimate son of the Parker family. Because the Parker family requires pure blood, he can't be seen in public. He can only do some dirty work for the Parker family in private. He's in charge of Chinatown. He wants this street to fight for some status for himself. I understand. Li Fan already understood. Since he's an ambitious guy, it's easy to deal with him. To deal with an enemy, you don't necessarily have to use violent means. Sometimes, some unorthodox methods are also very useful. Sir, in front is the villa where William lives. Anthony pointed to the front. He's very vigilant. If he sees me, he'll let his men interrogate me for a long time. If you believe me, please hide in the trunk. I'll bring you to William. Chapter 1250. Anthony's words made Li Fan ponder for a moment. Needless to say, this method has a certain degree of danger. Especially Anthony, who had just been taught a lesson by Qin Chao. Although he seemed to be on Qin Chao's side, it was hard to avoid the hidden killing intent in his heart. Sir. Sure. Li Fan still agreed. In order to see Lu Wan, he can take the risk. Sir, then I'll have to trouble you for a moment. Anthony stopped the car and went to the back to open the trunk. Li Fan went inside. The trunk was quite spacious, but it was very stuffy. Sir, don't be impatient. We'll be there in a moment. Li Fan felt the car continue to move, and there was a slight shake. After a while, the car stopped again. Li Fan heard someone outside asking questions. Anthony, why did you come back? I'm here to report the situation of the goods. Anthony replied. All right, go in. The car was let go and continued to drive inside. The villa's courtyard was not very big. The car didn't go far before it stopped again. The trunk's lid was opened again. Light shone into Li Fan's eyes along with a respectful big face. Sir, we're here. Anthony pointed at the villa in front. William lives here. I can only send you here. From now on, I won't be a gangster anymore. I'm going to work hard and do good deeds. All right, hurry up and go. Li Fan didn't have the energy to deal with Anthony anymore. He waved his hand and let Anthony leave. Anthony, as if reborn, drove the Mercedes-Benz and ran away. William Parker. Li Fan glanced at the villa in front of him. I'd like to see what kind of ghost your Parker family is. When he walked into the Parker family's house, he saw a password lock. Next to it was a communicator connected to a camera. If he rang the doorbell, he might alarm the person inside. Li Fan felt that since it was his first time visiting, he should be polite and not disturb the owner of the house. Therefore, he lifted his leg and kicked the door, causing it to sink 7 or 8 meters into the villa. Who? Sitting on the sofa in the room were 2 muscular bodyguards in suits. The 2 of them took out their P90s and aimed the muzzles at Li Fan, ready to fire. However, Li Fan used Dragon Capture Hand and forcefully pulled a burly man 4 or 5 meters away from him, raising him in front of him. 2. The bullets hit the strong man's body and created a hole in him, but Li Fan was unscathed. When the other party ran out of bullets, Li Fan flicked his palm again, and the corpse shot out fiercely, crashing into the big man opposite him, knocking him to the ground. Li Fan picked up the P90 that had fallen by his feet. Holding it with both hands, he pulled the trigger and fired a few shots, killing the remaining brawny men. A few more brawny men ran down from upstairs, each of them holding a P90. However, Li Fan stood in the living room and used the remaining bullets to shoot each of them. Although Li Fan's marksmanship was not good, his arm strength was strong. Standing there, he shot the bodyguards down the stairs into a pool of blood. Not bad. Li Fan threw away the empty P90. Sure enough, it's faster to use a gun. Who dares to cause trouble in the Parker house? A young voice came from the loudspeaker next to him, sounding like he was around 30 years old. Is this William Parker? Li Fan sat on the sofa and crossed his legs. What? Is this how you treat a guest? If it's an honorable guest, I naturally have a way to treat you. William's voice continued, however, you came uninvited and killed so many of my men, you can't be considered a guest, right? To me, if you're not a friend, then you're an enemy. It depends on your choice. Li Fan picked up a bottle of red wine next to him, poured a glass, and drank by himself. Although your hospitality is not good, your wine is not bad. What do you mean? Just say it. It's not good to hide the head and show the tail, right? Li Fan laughed as he took a sip of the red wine. Why don't we meet and have a chat, how about it? Since you've invited me, there's no reason not to meet. William was also a courageous person. After hearing Li Fan's words, he actually slowly walked down from upstairs and came into Li Fan's line of sight. This was a 30-years-old blonde man with a pair of blue eyes, as beautiful as a sapphire embedded in them. This man was very handsome, and he seemed to be on par with Yan Kai. However, his body also carried a bit of a feminine aura, making Li Fan slightly dislike him. This kind of person, with one look, could be seen to have a shrewdness in his bones. If he cooperated with him, he might be playing with fire. However, Li Fan liked to take risks. In order to find Lu Wan Air, even if it was asking a tiger for its skin, it did not matter. Mr. Li, right? William did not seem to be a racist. On the contrary, he even knew some news about Li Fan, the famous little tyrant. Why would you want to come here? Don't you know that the US has already pressured you not to step into this territory? What does that have to do with me? Li Fan casually smiled. Look at me today, didn't I still step on this land? Indeed worthy of being called little tyrant, your reputation is indeed well deserved. William's eyes slightly tightened, not angry at all. However, this is the Parker family's territory, it's not your turn to be presumptuous. Then what do you plan to do? Li Fan looked at William. Do you want to cooperate with me and become the Parker family's patriarch? Or do you want to try to kill me here, even at the cost of your own life? William was silent for a moment. Say it, what do you want? I want Lu Wan Air. Li Fan directly answered. Lu Wan Air. You're her classmate in China. I'm her man. Li Fan's answer made William reveal a shocked expression for the first time. It was impossible for William not to be surprised. What kind of person was Lu Wanair? She should not have a man she liked. She knew what it meant if this person appeared. You shouldn't have come. William carefully looked at Li Fan. Your appearance will harm two people. Tell me about Lu Wanair first. Li Fan could see that William had the intention to cooperate. But he did not say it out loud, and Li Fan did not expose him. This kind of matter was originally tacit. As long as he was willing to mention Lu Wanair, then the two of them would have the intention to cooperate. Take care of these people. William extended his hand and made an inviting gesture to Li Fan. I like Chinese culture, especially this romance of the Three Kingdoms. But there are a lot of ancient characters in it that I don't understand. How about Mr. Li come to my study room and help me decipher it? Chapter 1251. William pulled open a book on the bookshelf on the second floor. The bookshelf's door immediately slid to the side, revealing a secret room inside. Mr. Li, please come in. William made an inviting gesture. Li Fan did not hesitate and directly walked into the secret room. William followed behind, and the bookshelf slowly closed. Inside was a very spacious room, about 50 square meters. There were only two simple sofas inside, which seemed to be used for secret meetings. Mr. William, you're prepared. Li Fan casually sat on the sofa. Preparation is another matter. I feel that Mr. Li's courage is indeed not small. William took out a bottle of fine wine from a small wine cabinet at the side and poured half a cup for the two of them. No matter what, this is also the enemy's place. You actually entered this secret room without any scruples. Are you really not afraid that I'll set you up? No. Li Fan took a sip of this red wine. It was indeed much better than the bottle outside. Looks like this William is also a wine lover. Unfortunately, I don't understand wine and can't feel anything from it. It doesn't matter what tricks you have. Once I feel danger, I'll kill everyone here. You're indeed different from ordinary people. William sized up Li Fan a few more times. It's very convenient to talk here. Using your Chinese words, there's no harm in speaking. Looks like you have a good understanding of Chinese culture. Hearing William speak to him in fluent Chinese, Li Fan was somewhat surprised. I'm different from the traditional Parker family. I like Chinese culture. William Parker lightly tapped the table with his fingers and said slowly, the Parker family is already old. They are high and mighty, but they can't see the current situation. The world is no longer centered around the United States. The speed of China's development has shocked everyone. The Parker family has always wanted to suppress China's development, but we've all seen that it's impossible. William looked at Li Fan, but now, they're doing quite well. Even your martial arts world has been destroyed, isn't it? Li Fan was silent for a moment. What William said was right. The destruction of the Huaxia martial arts world was all caused by the agreement between the Huaxia Dove faction and the United States Empire. If it weren't for the fact that the Dragon God #1 was about to ascend to the heavens, perhaps China would really be restrained by the United States in the future. The battle between Huaxia's hawks and doves was just as fierce. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Li Fan looked at William. The Parker family looks down on your bloodline. No matter how hard you work, they won't appreciate it. Am I right? That's right. William nodded. In this study room, the two of them did not hide anything. They said whatever they wanted to say. However, I don't have the ability to go against them. William sighed. I'm just a mixed blood. I'm not that strong. Are you, really vampires? Although it was presumptuous of him, he still had to make things clear. There's no harm in saying it. We are. William said without hesitation, the Parker family has existed for more than 1,000 years. We came from the United Kingdom and were the first to log into this place. From the War of Independence to the Civil War, World War I, World War II. It can be said that our family was behind all these wars. Endless life. Then how long have you lived? I haven't lived for long. Just 30 years. William laughed. I'm the son of Tam Parker and an ordinary human girl. I'm a mixed blood. Only when I'm 25 years old will I awaken my vampire abilities. As for the Lu Wanwan that you know, she's going to be 25 soon. According to the family rules, when she turns 25, she must return home to complete the blood pact. But she's not 25 this year, right? Li Fan frowned. Yes, she's not 25 yet. But a while ago, when an elder of the Parker family came to China, he found out that she's no longer a virgin. Li Fan was slightly speechless. You can even find out that. Us vampires have a unique ability. We can tell by the smell of blood. William's words made Li Fan feel strange. This vampire had such an ability. Don't be too curious. After all, we vampires love the blood of virgins the most. William stretched out his hand and pointed at a bottle of red wine on the wine cabinet. But the color of the red wine was a bit special. It seemed to be thicker. This is blood. The blood of virgins. William said, I raised a blood thrall. Usually, when she goes out, I will store some of her blood. When I need it, I will take it out to taste. Vampires. Blood thrall, Li Fan felt as if he had opened the door to a whole new world. Without a blood thrall, vampires would have no choice but to go out to hunt. However, only the weakest blood fiends will go out to hunt. Blood fiends. Just some guys who failed to convert vampires. They're not worth mentioning. William seemed to be disgusted with these guys. In short, to the Parker family, impure blood is a big taboo. I'm the same as Lu Wanwan, an illegitimate child who can't be seen. William continued, to us illegitimate children, it's already a disgrace to the Parker family. And Lu Wanwan actually had an affair with another human. Therefore, she was summoned back to the family in advance and will be punished by the family. What punishment? Li Fan's head was jumping. He was worried about Lu Wanwan's safety. If anything happened to her, he would definitely massacre the Parker family. I also don't know, but it's not the right time yet. To the Parker family, tradition is the most important thing. And according to tradition, the punishment for the mixed blood in the family must be when the moon hides. In other words, it's the first day of the first month. The first day of the first month in China is the new moon. Yes, you're talking about your Chinese lunar calendar, right? William nodded, it's that date. If I calculate it, there's about 7 or 8 days left. 6 days. Li Fan glanced at his phone. The time left for him was indeed not much. William, if you help me save Lu Wanwan, I will help you pave the road to the top. You're right, the Parker family is too traditional. They can't keep up with this era. This family should be managed by you. My friend, I really like your way of thinking. But the Parker family isn't as simple as you think. This family has developed for thousands of years. From the top to the bottom, there are many experts. Let's not talk about others, let's talk about Al Parker. This is our Parker family's first-generation patriarch, a blood race prince. He and the previous 4 generations of patriarchs have already retired and become the 4 big princes of the family. The 5th generation patriarch is also Lu Wanwan's father, Peter Parker. He controls the current Parker family and is even a Grand Duke. Chapter 1252. From William's attitude, he was sure that he wanted to form an alliance with Li Fan. My father, Sam Parker, is Grand Duke Peter's right-hand man. Currently, he has the strength of a duke. Listening to his introduction of the family situation, Li Fan couldn't help but ask. Is the rank of the blood breeds the same as the Western nobles? Yes, Duke, Earl, Viscount, Male, Grand Duke, then Prince. Legend has it that there is an even more powerful queen, the ancestor of the vampires. Ancestor of the vampires. Isn't it Dracula? Haha, that's just a rumor. We, the blood breeds, have a different legend. The one who created our blood breeds was a beautiful woman. She used her own blood to create the entire family. That's the real ancestor level of vampires. As for Al Parker, he is a rare first-generation blood breeds. His bloodline is very pure. You're the 5th generation. So what level are you? I'm just a small viscount. William shrugged his shoulders. The Parker family has a lot of precious materials to increase their strength. Unfortunately, they won't give them to a mixed blood like me. Don't worry, this family will be yours in the future. When the time comes, all the resources will be at your disposal. Why did you choose to cooperate with me instead of destroying the Parker family yourself? You said it yourself, the Parker family isn't simple. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you'll never be defeated. Besides, I want to save people. Without your help, I can kill people, but it'll be hard to save people. Mr. Lee, that's a good reason. I accept. William nodded. I'm willing to be Mr. Lee's most loyal ally. I can even make a blood oath. Why, aren't you afraid that I'll cheat you? Life has always been a gamble. Hearing Li Fan's question, William immediately said, I think that when the first generation Mr. Al was faced with a choice, he also thought the same way, so he chose to become a blood breeds. And now, it's time for me to choose. Okay, I won't let you regret it. Li Fan looked at William, his eyes shining. I, Li Fan, have always been willing to sacrifice myself for my friends. But I have to say something first. Whoever wants to be my enemy, I guarantee that he will die a horrible death. He's our enemy. William raised his glass. Cheers to our friendship. Cheers. William was interesting, and he was also ambitious. It would be very difficult for him to climb up in the Parker family on his own. He is a smart man, and I hope he can keep that. Let's continue what we were talking about. William put down his glass and pointed outside the window. Like I said, the Parker family is a blood breed. We are creatures that embrace the darkness, and sunlight will cause us some harm. Sunlight will kill you. That won't happen, but it will greatly weaken our strength. Vampires evolved through the cultivation of blood and dark energy. The higher the rank of a vampire, the more afraid they were of sunlight. As for new students or vampires like me who aren't that strong, sunlight doesn't have much of an effect on us. Let me put it this way, if I don't put on some sunscreen, I'll feel my skin prickle when I stand under the sun. What about a vampire prince like Owl? He'll be miserable. If he's exposed to sunlight, he'll be weaker than a baby. He won't even have the strength to walk. Like I said, blood and darkness. That's where our power comes from. Without them, we won't be able to survive. What about blood thralls? It's a kind of charm magic. William explained, we use this magic on humans to make them willingly become our slaves and use their blood to feed us. Isn't that a bit cruel? Not really. Because they're blood thralls, we won't kill them. Plus, humans have a healthy hematopoietic system. Raising 1 or 2 blood thralls is enough to satisfy our daily needs. The more blood thralls we have, the faster our strength grows. However, blood thralls have the same lifespan as humans. After all, they aren't blood breeds. So after they die of old age, we have to change blood thralls. Sometimes, after a long time, it's hard to avoid developing feelings. Like Lu Wan Er and I, we're the descendants of the 4th generation and blood thralls. So that's how it is. Blood breeds are indeed an interesting family. We don't have many people. The Parker family has more than 100 vampires, big and small. Over 1,000 years, and only so few people have been raised. The Parker family values their bloodline very much. They aren't allowed to casually create new blood breeds. William shrugged his shoulders. A good family must take good care of their family planning. About Lu Wan Er. William was about to talk about the thing that Li Fan wanted to hear the most when a small red light on the wall lit up. The family is here. William raised his eyebrows. They rarely come. I guess they have some dirty work for me to do. He put the wine glass back on the table and looked at Li Fan. Wait here. There's a surveillance camera on the wall. If you're worried, you can watch my every move. William pointed at the row of surveillance cameras on the wall. I'm very worried about you. Go do what you need to do, I'll wait for you. Although Li Fan said that, after William went downstairs, he stared at the surveillance camera without blinking. William was a little too smart. If he wanted to talk to him, he would have to observe him for a while. As the saying goes, one must not have the heart to harm others, but one must always be on guard against others. In the surveillance camera, William went down the stairs and came to the living room. A white-skinned baldy walked in. He was wearing a black suit and seemed to have some status. After this person came in, he stared at the bloodstains on the floor that hadn't been wiped clean. I dealt with a few disobedient servants. William wiped his hands with a handkerchief as he walked towards the baldy. Sam, what are you doing here? I don't remember inviting you. Kid, watch your attitude when you talk to me. The baldy called Sam suddenly stretched out his right hand. A blood whip flew out and wrapped around William's neck, causing his face to turn pale. The surrounding thugs only watched. No one dared to step forward to help. You dirty mixed blood, if you dare to use this tone to talk to me again, I'll break your neck and use your skull to decorate my kennel. Sorry, Sam. William's neck was released. He took 2 steps back and rubbed his neck. With an apologetic face, he said, I was too impulsive just now. I'm not in a good mood today. That has nothing to do with me. Sam snorted coldly and snorted. If I didn't have a job for you, I wouldn't have come to such a smelly place. Chapter 1253. Just tell me what you need me to do. That's more like it. Looking at William's respectful look, Sam nodded in satisfaction. He straightened his tie and said, I need Alba's head on it. How about it? When can you give it to me? William was silent for a while. Sam raised his hand and whipped William's face. He took a step back and half knelt on the ground. I'm asking you a question. Sam. Mr. Alba is a famous hunter. Slap. Another whip landed on William's mouth. His lips were split but they were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. I want the time for the mission, not your useless, cheap excuses. Sam scolded, You're such a lazy bastard. If it wasn't for Duke Sam, I'd break your head myself. Then give me a month's time. Slap. Another whip was whipped. William frowned but did not cry out in pain. Bastard, do you think this is giving birth? A month? I'll give you 3 days. Bring me Alba's head. Otherwise, I'll hand over your head. Sam turned around and left the villa. As he walked out, he was still mumbling. Filthy bastard, you've dirted my hands. William slowly straightened his body. He was 1.8 meters tall, and when he stood up, his body was slender. A blonde handsome man like him was definitely an existence that could make women go crazy. Can't you see it from the surveillance camera? William didn't even turn his head as he asked. I like the front row seat. Li Fan pressed his hands on the railing on the second floor and looked at William below. Looks like you're not well liked in your family. You don't have to laugh at me. Your Lu Wan used to be treated like this in the family. William was indeed a talent. One sentence ignited the fire in Li Fan's heart. I'll get rid of those who beat Lu Wan one by one. Li Fan sneered. Thank you for reminding me. It's my duty, my dear ally. William bowed slightly at Li Fan. All right, stop trying to imply something. Tell me, who is Alba? The Beast Men are the sworn enemies of the Blood Clan. William introduced another dark race member to Li Fan. Alba is one of the best among them. He's a werewolf known as the Hunter. You should have heard of him in the novels. Now they're all here, Li Fan muttered to himself. Another group of radiant knights, and the few professions and races would be complete. These beast men are strong and brutal. Werewolves, in particular, love to hunt vampires. Only werewolves who have killed vampires are worthy of being called hunters. William said, they can smell us from 100 meters away, so they can easily locate us. The werewolves and vampires have been fighting each other for 1,000 years, but neither had gained the upper hand. The gods seem to be fair. They created the blood race and the beast men. They made the two fight against each other to ensure that no one would dominate the world and leave humans with no place to live. What about the humans? Do they have no way to deal with the blood race? Of course they do. William was equivalent to Li Fan's blood race Baidu. They're known as the Cross Knights. They specialize in hunting the dark races. However, in recent years, the number of Cross Knights has been decreasing. In any case, I haven't seen any. Is Alba very powerful? Li Fan felt that it was time to do something for his ally. Very. William's tone was very serious. The number of vampires that died in his hands is no less than 10. Rumor had it that a vampire count had died in his hands a while ago. With my strength, I'm afraid I'm not his match. Then your clansmen sent you to your death. You're right. They don't care about my life or death. William sighed. I'm also very careful and didn't dare to make any mistakes. That's why I'm alive today. Lu Wan is slightly luckier. She's the woman of the clan leader, so she had the opportunity to study in Huaxia and avoid the disputes of the clan before her awakening. However, it's a pity that you've harmed her. How is that harming her? Li Fan denied William's statement. Wan is gentle and sunny. She shouldn't be someone who lives in the dark. I will save her and let her escape from the claws of the vampires. I actually hope that you can do it. William touched the faint scar that was left on his lips. What vampires? It's more like a curse. However, Mr. Li, shouldn't we settle the matter in front of us first? Yes, I will help you get rid of that Alba. Since they had already formed an alliance, Li Fan wouldn't be careless. Where is he? You better think it through. He's a very powerful werewolf. William reminded Li Fan out of kindness. They're strong and strong. Moreover, they usually bring a few companions with them. If we want to defeat Alba, it's best if we call some people. No need. Just the two of us will be enough. Li Fan didn't want to cause too much of a commotion. He was afraid that the Parker family would find out and hurt Lu Wan. You. Are you joking? Just the two of us. To hunt a group of werewolves. Even William felt that Li Fan was a little crazy. I've explained it to you just now. Even the Earl died in Alba's hands. What's more, there are a few of his companions. Will I harm you? Li Fan laughed. Just follow me. After that, you still have to help me find out news about Wan. If I bring back Alba's head, it'll naturally be a great merit. By then, I might have the chance to go to Dawn Castle. That's Peter Parker's old nest. When I get there, I'll definitely be able to find Lu Wan. They were obviously a group of vampires, but the place they lived in was called Dawn Castle. Li Fan really wanted to complain. Alright, tell me, where's Alba? Don't worry, my friend. I'll naturally find out. William chuckled as he took out his phone. As a mixed-blood vampire who has lived to this day, I have my own means. Especially intelligence work. I'm very good at it. He seemed to have sent out a message. Not long after, he pointed his phone at Li Fan and showed him a photo. Above them was a pub with a black motorcycle hanging from the roof. This is Tire Bar. It's a place where bikers gather. William pointed at the photo. Alba is also a motorcycle enthusiast. Right now, he should be drinking here. Then what are we waiting for? He'll leave after he's done drinking. Let's go. Chapter 1254. After Li Fan arrived in America, he did not stay idle. He killed along the way. However, he was already close to the Parker family. As long as he went deeper, he would be able to find his beloved Lu Wan. Tire Bar. This bar was located on the side of a highway in the outskirts of Los Angeles. America's highway culture was more prosperous. For a country that did not have tolls, choosing to drive out and enjoy the scenery along the way became a choice for Americans. Tire Bar was also quite famous in this area. Why was it famous? It was because this was a professional motorcycle bar. Other than the motorcycle drivers, no other customers were welcome. Li Fan followed William. The two of them did not use a motorcycle. They sat in a black Mercedes-Benz and quickly drove out of Los Angeles onto the highway. When we get there, try not to be rash. Everything depends on my arrangements. When William was in the car, he warned Li Fan again and again. Alright, it's your territory anyway. I'll listen to you. That's good. I reckon that other than Alba, there should be other hunters inside. William had always been very confident in intelligence. According to the information I received, Alba has a few experts with him. It's better not to casually fight with them. I'll think of a way to lure Alba out. If it's the two of us, we might be able to kill him together. William's various plans, including how to lure him out and how to kill him, were detailed and clear. Li Fan listened at the side and did not express any opinions. He just took it as agreement. Tire Bar was not far from Los Angeles. The two of them drove for about an hour before they could see a large tire on the roof of a building. That's it. William pointed. Do you see that tire? It's so big. Of course I see it. Li Fan said that this William was a chatterbox. Yes, that's it. Wait for me in the car. I'll lure that guy out. That's not right. Li Fan reminded William. There's a flaw in your plan. A serious flaw. What? It's the smell on your body. As long as you get within 100 meters, Alba will immediately discover you. You should be the one waiting in the car 100 meters away. I'll lure that Alba out. That won't do. You're not familiar with the culture here. You might attract their attention. William took out a small bottle and sprayed it on himself twice. This is a potion to confuse the werewolf's sense of smell. It works after you spray it on yourself. Don't worry, I'm your ally after all. How could I possibly come up with an unreliable plan? This chatterbox. Li Fan was speechless. Then let's go in together. I'll be bored if we stay outside. Li Fan seemed to be complaining. All right. It's fine if you go in, but don't mess around. William didn't seem to be able to do anything to Li Fan, especially since they had just formed an alliance. He also wanted to show off in front of Li Fan. As a vampire viscount, he had some power. Let's see how it goes. Li Fan also wanted to see William's ability. This was a good opportunity. He and William stopped their car near the tire bar. There were no guardrails on the roads in America, so parking was more convenient. After you go in, don't cause any trouble. William reminded Li Fan again and then pushed open the bar's door. The moment they entered, they saw that the inside was dimly lit. There was a long bar counter, and a few muscular men in biker suits were sitting in the bar. There were white men and black men among them. When William and Li Fan entered, they put down their glasses at the same time and turned around to stare at the two of them. Their stares made Li Fan's hair stand on end. Could it be that these guys were all gay? At that moment, Li Fan didn't know why he had such a thought. Boss, give me a glass of whiskey. We don't welcome other guests here. Even the bartender was a muscular man. Li Fan felt that this shouldn't be a bar, but a gym. As the saying went, don't drink while driving, and don't drive while drinking. It wasn't good for the bikers here to ride out after drinking, right? However, Li Fan kept to his promise with William and kept his words to himself. I'm also very interested in motorcycles. William quickly said, I've been planning to buy my first Harley. One of my uncles told me to come here and ask Alba. He'll recommend the best car to me. There's nothing here, Alba. Hurry up and leave. The bartender seemed to want to chase William away. Oh, all right. That's too disappointing. William sighed and turned to walk out of the door. However, at that moment, the bar's door was slammed shut. A man in a black leather jacket blocked the door. He held a bottle of alcohol in one hand and an axe in the other. He looked at William playfully. I'm Alba. Are you looking for me? What do you want? William put on a nervous expression. I'm just here to ask for your help, don't think that I can't smell you. Alba sneered. You think you can hide from our sense of smell with this kind of thing? What a joke. Little vampire worm, leave your head here. Oh no, William's expression changed. I miscalculated, his original goal was to lure Alba out. He did not expect that he would enter the wolf's den. Li Fan, I'll cover for you. Hurry up and leave. William's face was pale. He said to Li Fan, this is my mistake. I shouldn't have dragged you into this. Forget it. We're all allies. If anything happens to you, I'll cover for you. Li Fan waved his hand, indicating that it did not matter. Are you trying to play gay buddies with me here? Alba played with the axe in his hand. None of you can leave today. Brothers, let's get to work. As he spoke, the few brawny men around him put down their glasses and stood up. Every one of them glared at Li Fan as if they wanted to skin him alive. Alba, this is between us. He's just an ordinary person. Let him go. William said to Alba. Hey. Little bug, are you mistaken? Alba whistled. I'm not your puppy. You actually want me to listen to you. So what if he's an ordinary person? Have I not killed enough? Their flesh is delicious too. Let's have a taste of meat today. As he spoke, Alba threw the axe in his hand at them. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The axe spun in the air and made a terrifying sound as it tore through the air. Chapter 1255. But when William stretched out his hand, his speed was very fast. He directly grabbed the axe in his hand. Don't look down on the Blood Clan, son of a bitch. As William spoke, he stretched out his other hand and released his blood magic. The Blood Clan had two kinds of power. One was to absorb darkness to obtain extraordinary speed. The other was blood magic. Every Blood Clan could transform their blood into a special weapon. The Sam Parker from before, his blood magic is a whip. And William's blood magic was a blood-red chain. The chain flew out and wrapped around a burly man's body. It pulled him to the ground and pulled him in front of William. At the same time, the axe in William's hand fell and chopped off the burly man's head. Seems like you have some guts. Not only was Alba not afraid, he laughed instead. Your head will be a very good exhibit. As he spoke, Alba's body suddenly started to expand. The clothes on his upper body were directly torn apart. His face had also become longer, and white hair had grown on his body. This guy directly became more than 2 meters tall. He stretched out a pair of sharp claws and stared at William with his red eyes. The surrounding burly men also trembled a few times. Soon, they tore off their clothes and turned into the appearance of a werewolf. But all of them had black fur and their fur was shiny. In a bar, there were more than 10 werewolves standing. Every one of them was baring their teeth and drooling. They were waiting to share their food with Li Fan and the rest. Amazing, so many werewolves. Li Fan looked at them and could not help but feel a little surprised. Be careful, they are powerful creatures that surpass humans. As William spoke, a werewolf had already quickly pounced over. Its speed was extremely fast. It used both its hands and legs on the ground. In the blink of an eye, it ran to the two of them and fiercely pounced. William immediately threw out his chain. The chain rotated in front of him and condensed into a ball, forming a shield. The werewolf hit the shield head-on and was sent flying. Bang! The chains were shattered by the impact and fell to the ground. Damn, William's head was full of cold sweat. There are too many black-haired werewolves here. Hee, it's better for you to give up resisting. Alba was a white-furred werewolf. He crossed his arms and sneered at the two who were fighting like cornered beasts. You are just a viscount. You are no match for us. As he spoke, a werewolf had already appeared behind William. It opened its bloody mouth and bit at William's neck. Before William could react, Li Fan suddenly attacked. He stretched out his left palm and directly grabbed the werewolf's huge head. Die! With a swing of his hand, Li Fan flung the werewolf's huge body into the air and smashed the table in front of him. The werewolf's fall was not light. His body was covered in blood, and the splinters from the broken table had pierced into his skin. Li Fan turned around and kicked a werewolf in the leg. At the same time, he took advantage of the moment the werewolf fell to slap the werewolf's head. Bang! With a crisp explosion, the werewolf's head was smashed into minced meat. You! Who are you? The arrogance on Alba's face disappeared. This Asian guy was obviously an expert. Mr. Werewolf, can I borrow something from you? Borrow what? Let me borrow your head for a while. As Li Fan spoke, he had already appeared in front of Alba. Alba reacted almost instinctively. He hurriedly raised his arm, wanting to block his neck. But at this moment, Li Fan appeared behind him. A cold voice rang in his ear. Thank you. Li Fan's knife hand sliced through Alba's neck. His head flew into the air under the impact of fresh blood. Then, William locked it up with a chain and pulled it back into his hand. It's that easy. William was a little surprised as he looked at the head in his hand. Is there anyone else who wants to lend me their head? Li Fan looked around and saw that the werewolves around him had all shrunk back. That's good. William, let's go. Okay, William obediently followed behind Li Fan and followed him out of the bar. This time, no one dared to stop them. If I knew you were so powerful, I would have thought of a better idea. William held the head in one hand and touched his chin with the other. He seemed to be thinking about something. I need to think carefully about how to use your power. Hey, are you treating me as a tool? Li Fan laughed bitterly as he sat in the car. How can that be? We are staunch allies. William said solemnly. Your power is at least comparable to that of a duke vampire. Is that so? Then it seems that werewolves are very weak. Li Fan asked casually. Alba is not considered the most outstanding werewolf. The most powerful werewolves are all red-haired. William introduced, and among the orcs, werewolves are not the most ferocious. It's just that werewolves like to hunt in groups, so they are very powerful. Among the known orcs, the strongest should be the lion race. They are the kings of the orc race and live in a castle in Norway. The royal race naturally has a place where the royal race lives. What a strange world. Li Fan was even more curious, won't these orcs affect the humans? Orcs are an ancient race. They had an agreement with the humans and signed a non-aggression pact. In the early years, the orcs did invade the humans, but the humans' cross knights were too powerful and almost wiped out the orcs. Therefore, the orcs finally surrendered and signed this cross pact with the humans, promising never to take the initiative to attack the humans. As for orcs like Alba who hunt humans without permission, there will be an arbitration committee to deal with them. Looks like every world has its own rules. Li Fan nodded, I understand. With this, we can enter the castle as we wish. William pointed at the human heads in the trunk. I won't let Sam take all the credit. As a member of the Parker family, you can't even enter the family castle. Li Fan stared at William. Filthy mixed blood, unless you are allowed, you cannot enter the castle. William smiled bitterly, this is the rule, otherwise why would I live in a villa outside? Then do you have a way to bring me in? Naturally. William said proudly, I won't make a mistake every time. When the time comes, you will become my blood slave and enter the Parker family castle with me. Blood slave. Are you going to bite me? No, I have a spray bottle here. See, just spray it on your body. Go to hell. Chapter 1256. William, this unreliable guy, his so-called spray, Li Fan really did not believe it. I'm starting to doubt the correctness of forming an alliance with you. Li Fan's words made William nervous. Dear Mr. Li. Please believe me. Oh right, if you don't believe in the spray, you might as well use this. William said as he took out a syringe from his pocket. Li Fan was also speechless. This guy hid a dimensional bag in his pocket. What is this? This is our blood. William took the small syringe and spun it in his hand. As long as I inject you a little, you will have my scent on you. Moreover, this thing will not affect your body. The effect will probably last for about a day. Why do you keep this thing? Li Fan could not help but ask. Just in case. William shrugged his shoulders, I'm a person who likes to prepare in advance. In your Chinese words, it's called preparing for a rainy day. You really like Chinese culture. William said these idioms as if he was very familiar with them. Of course. William said proudly, I'm also very envious of Lu Wan Air. she can go to school in China. I also want to go, but unfortunately, I don't have a patriarch as my father, so I can only stay behind and do the dirty work for the Parker family. It's okay, you can follow me in the future. Li Fan said with a smile, I can't just watch the Chinese martial arts be destroyed by that group of people. With your help, maybe we can give them a surprise. To become the patriarch of the Parker family, just being a small viscount is not enough. William sighed, without powerful strength, the people below will not obey us. After you get the position, there will naturally be more resources for you to train. Li Fan rolled his eyes at William, weren't you so smug before? Why are you hesitating now? It's never wrong to be careful. William said, especially seeing that you're so strong, I don't want to be a burden to you. Alright then, think about how to quickly increase your strength. Li Fan asked directly, making you stronger will also be helpful to me. The fastest way for us blood breeds to become stronger is to absorb powerful blood. William immediately said, however, how can the blood of an expert be so easily obtained? Try mine. Li Fan stretched out his right hand and placed it in front of William. In any case, he was someone who had eaten a dragon before, so he was considered a half-dragon. If he absorbed his own blood, it might have some effect. This seems like a good idea. William was a little surprised. He didn't expect Li Fan to make such a big sacrifice. But it's not so easy to absorb blood. I'll inform Sam tomorrow to come and get the head. Let's try it tonight. Sure. Li Fan nodded, however, I need you to promise me something. Don't worry. William had already started to use honorifics towards Li Fan. I will make a blood oath to you that I will never betray you. Yes, remember, our interests are the same. I am willing to protect my friendship with you. William had already placed all his bets on Li Fan. He was not a fool. He could see that Li Fan's thoughts were not on the US side. When he found Lu Wanwan, he would naturally leave this place. At that time, the Parker family would be ruled by him. As long as he didn't do anything that would harm Li Fan's interests, it would be fine. Your car is driving a little too fast. Li Fan felt that the speed of the car was already beyond godlike. Ahaha. I'm just a little impatient. William laughed dryly. Haste makes waste. Moreover, my blood might not be effective. We'll know when the time comes. William's heart indeed began to look forward to it. At the same time, in the Parker family's castle. In the basement, a coffin with a bat pattern was erected in a pool of blood. Peter Parker was wearing a black suit. Even though he had lived for hundreds of years, he still had the appearance of a handsome young man. In this dark basement, he looked at the coffin in front of him as if he was thinking about something. If I were you, I would destroy this bastard. A figure wearing a black robe slowly walked out from the darkness. With a gloomy face, he looked at Peter and said slowly, no matter what, she is my daughter. Peter put his hands in his pockets, blood is thicker than water. Just a bastard, and a tainted bastard at that. The man mercilessly ridiculed, the Parker family's bloodline is getting dirtier and dirtier. As the fifth-generation patriarch, you should set an example. After she wakes up, I will let her marry Olaf. Olaf Bar. The man was slightly surprised, that Bar family's prince. Yes, although he is a small bloodling, I have some friendship with Clark. As long as I say it, he should agree to this marriage. That's good, as long as this woman is kicked out of the Parker family. You talk too much. Are you questioning the patriarch's orders? As an elder, I have the right to supervise you. In short, quickly deal with this woman. Since you are an elder, first deal with the werewolf invasion. Peter ridiculed, or is it that your only ability is to constantly yell in my ear? Humph, those beasts, my troops will naturally get rid of them. The elder coldly snorted, I don't need you to remind me. You have to hurry up, or else your position as the fortress elder will be lost. Humph. The elder waved his hand and turned around to leave the basement. Stupid. Peter's face was full of disdain. Good daughter, you can't die yet. After I clean you up, you will be a tool for my marriage with the Barr family. After taking control of the Barr family, my power will naturally be more stable. The position of leader of the blood race should end in my generation. I will live forever, and I might even become a great god of the blood race. A pair of eyes stared at this scene in the dark. After Peter left, the eyes slowly closed. Then, I'll start. In the secret room of William's villa, he licked his lips, looked at Li Fan and asked. Fuck, it's just sucking blood, can you not make it so weird? Li Fan couldn't help but curse. Yes, I will try to maintain a normal heart. William first analyzed, you at least have the strength of a duke or above. If I suck your blood, I might become a level stronger. Earl, if I slowly train, it will take me at least 20 years to reach this level. Then hurry up and absorb it. It'll be good if you get stronger quickly. Li Fan thought for a moment and changed to his left hand, hurry up. Chapter 1257. Then I won't stand on ceremony. At the thought of becoming an earl, William couldn't help but feel a little excited. He held Li Fan's left arm, looked at it, and wiped it again and again, as if he had found a treasure. Hey, that's enough. If you want to suck it, hurry up. Li Fan was a little impatient. Okay, I'll use it now. William opened his mouth, and the teeth in his cheeks revealed his fangs. He bit Li Fan's wrist, causing Li Fan to feel a little pain. He could feel his skin being pierced, and his blood was starting to be sucked away by William. It felt like he had been pricked by needles in the past. Ugh! William's eyes lit up with a red glow, as if something was growing rapidly. He let go of Li Fan's arm, then took 2 steps back and half knelt on the ground. His body was faintly emitting a blood-red glow. So painful, William's veins were bulging on his face, and he looked very upset. Li Fan frowned. This was the first time he had seen such a situation, and he didn't know what to do. Do you need me to call an ambulance for you? Li Fan looked at William's pained expression and thought for a long time before squeezing out this sentence. No, it's okay. I'll get better. William's face was pale as he replied to Li Fan, I need some time. William looked like he was really in pain. But there was an indescribable glow of excitement in his eyes, as if this was the moment he wanted the most. Suddenly, a pair of black wings grew out from William's back. The wings broke through William's skin and clothes, struggling out. They were like the wings of a bat, and they weren't very good-looking. They looked a little hideous. Li Fan stood there, observing the changes in William's body. He stared intently, afraid to miss any details. The bloody glow on William's body was getting stronger and stronger. Fortunately, this was a secret chamber, and no light could seep through. Otherwise, it would bring them some unnecessary trouble. William, how do you feel? This state lasted for about 10 minutes, and finally, William had no strength left. He could only lie on the ground and twitch. The wings on his back also drooped on the ground, as if they had lost their strength. Much better, William didn't have much strength in his speech, but the pain seemed to have lessened. Li Fan didn't know if the pain had lessened or if he had become numb to it. How much do you feel your strength has grown? Li Fan asked. A lot. Your blood is very powerful. I've already surpassed the rank of Count. I'm now evolving towards the rank of Marquis. Marquis? That sounds pretty strong. Li Fan rubbed his chin and fell into deep thought. It seemed like he really did have the blood of a dragon in his body. Otherwise, it would be impossible for a vampire to grow so much. Mr. Li. You're really too strong. I can feel my own growth. This is like a dream. Even a rocket wouldn't be this fast. William was very happy. The dragon's blood had helped him a lot. He had actually gone from a viscount to a marquis in an instant. He had crossed an entire rank. Li Fan knew that William was fine, so he sat at the side and enjoyed the black tea that William had prepared beforehand. The black tea abroad was a little different from the ones in China. The way they drank tea here was similar to drinking coffee, often with sugar and other flavorings. However, this drinking method had started to become popular in China. Many coffee shops had introduced Earl black tea, lemon tea, milk tea, and the like. The Chinese were also very happy to drink them. William's black tea wasn't bad. Li Fan sipped his tea while observing William's situation. After more than half an hour, William was already sweating all over. He wiped the cold sweat off his forehead as he slowly got up. Mr. Li. I'm fine now, how is it? Marquis. Approaching the rank of Duke. William was very excited. Mr. Li, your blood is really too good. If there's a chance, please let me drink a little more. Fuck, I'm not your blood thrall. Just a little is enough. Li Fan glared at William. It's indeed a little addictive, William laughed mischievously. Besides, making me stronger is also helpful to you. How about this, during the period of rescuing Lil Wan, can Mr. Li provide me with some blood? All right. You greedy fellow. The other party was his ally after all. Making him stronger would also be beneficial. Mr. Li. Have you ever considered becoming a vampire? William asked as he wiped his face clean. Are you kidding me? Why would I want to be a bat instead of a human? Li Fan rolled his eyes. Mr. Li. Lil Wan and I are both vampires. It's not very appropriate for you to say that, that's true. But I really haven't considered becoming a vampire. Li Fan rejected William's suggestion. What's so good about living in the darkness? Being a vampire is a kind of glory, and it comes with endless life. You even complained to me before, saying that this is a curse. Li Fan looked askance at William. Young man, isn't your worldview changing a little too fast? Cough cough. I've become a little stronger, so my confidence has also increased. William looked at Li Fan. Mr. Li, do you want to spar with me and test my strength? Sure, I'll go easy on you. As Li Fan spoke, he put one hand in his pocket and beckoned William with the other. Make your move. Mr. Li. Don't underestimate the power of a marquis. William seemed a little unconvinced. He suddenly stretched out his right hand, and a blood-red chain immediately flew out, instantly wrapping around Li Fan's body. William wanted to tug at the chain, but he found that Li Fan's legs seemed to be rooted to the ground. He stood there steadily, and his own chain could not move at all. William was a little surprised. His chain had always been successful. When he was a viscount, he could pull a cow with his chain. Now that he was a marquis, his strength was more than 10 times stronger than before. He could even pull a dozen cows, but he couldn't move Mr. Li. It seemed that this Mr. Li was indeed an expert, is that all? Li Fan asked. William was also helpless. Mr. Li, you're too strong, other than this, there's nothing else. Only super speed and bullet time are left. What? Bullet time? Li Fan was shocked. There's such an ability. Yes, every vampire above Marquis has the ability of bullet time. The stronger they are, the slower the bullet time. But because it belongs to dark magic, it can only be used at night. What about those above Marquis? What abilities do they have? Dukes have the grip of darkness. William introduced. Dukes are even more powerful. Their ability is. Chapter 1258. Grand Dukes can summon undead servants. William said enviously, princes can transform into real royalty. As for the queen, I heard that she is extremely powerful, and her ability is nightfall. As long as the queen is here, the blood breeds are almost invincible. Sounds pretty powerful. Li Fan nodded after knowing the ability of the blood breeds. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Even if Li Fan is strong, there is always someone better. If he is too confident, he will be easily defeated. Why don't you show me your bullet time? Well, how do I show this? William thought for a moment and pointed to the cup beside Li Fan. Li Fan felt his vision change, and then William was quickly approaching him. But he also has a little bullet time ability, and he could clearly see that William was quickly approaching him, and at the same time, his hand reached for the cup beside him. William was full of confidence, and he seemed to be a little proud. At this time, Li Fan used force, broke William's chain, and then took the cup in his hand. Ha! William stopped and looked at the cup in Li Fan's hand in disbelief. Your bullet time is quite useful. Li Fan took the cup and did not forget to praise him. William was a little depressed, but he also understood that Li Fan was deliberately killing his spirit. He wanted to let himself understand that regardless of evolving into Earl or Marquis, his strength was still far from his. Mr. Li is too strong, no wonder he is the guardian of China, he should be the strongest man in China. Mr. Li, William could not help but ask, are you the strongest in China? This, I have to disappoint you, I am really not. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders, there are many people in China who are stronger than me. China is too scary, William swallowed his saliva, but it is full of mystery, I still want to meet these experts. Ha, not everyone is as easy to talk to as me. Li Fan laughed, once a person is too strong, it will be accompanied by the desire to rule. I believe that. This is the deep-rooted bad habit of humans. Don't you blood breeds do the same? It's alright. At least for now, the blood breeds only want to consolidate their living space. Alright, have a good rest tonight. There might be a big battle tomorrow. Li Fan was also tired. After coming to the United States, he had not been idle. Then have a good rest, but it's not convenient to stay here. I've arranged a 5-star hotel for you. Alright, I'll be troubling you then. Under William's arrangement, Li Fan stayed in a luxurious hotel nearby. As expected, William's arrangements were not bad. He got a presidential suite for Li Fan. Mr. Li, the facilities of this hotel are very complete. William winked at Li Fan. You can find whatever you want here. Ah. What do I want? Li Fan didn't quite understand. There are a lot of hot chicks here. William chuckled. We have them in every country. You can play however you like. I'll pay for all the expenses. Forget it. I don't have that hobby. There were all kinds of beauties in Li Fan's house. He wouldn't be interested in the game outside. You don't have to be shy, Mr. Li. Just treat this place as your own home. I'm not interested. Li Fan reiterated. Ah. Then, I understand, William seemed to have understood something. Then have a good rest. I've prepared everything properly for you. Alright. You should go back and sleep. Li Fan waved his hand. I'm going to sleep too. Yes, yes, yes. I understand. I understand. William placed a credit card on the table. This card is for you. I'll pay for all your expenses here. Thank you very much. Li Fan didn't object. He even helped William increase his strength. This wasn't something that could be exchanged for with money. Then I won't disturb your rest. Have a sweet dream. Oh right. Help me order something to eat. I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm hungry. All right. Leave it to me. After William finished, he went out with a smile. Li Fan wasn't sleepy yet. He went to take a shower first. When he was in the bathroom, he heard the door being opened. Perhaps he's here to deliver food. Li Fan muttered. Sir, are you taking a shower? Sure enough, someone began to knock on the bathroom door. From the sound, it was a man. Li Fan was applying bath lotion on his body. He responded. Do you need me to help you, sir? The man outside asked again. Li Fan began to mutter. Could it be that this 5-star hotel had a rubbing service? No need. I'll do it myself. However, Li Fan wasn't used to others rubbing him. Just leave it in the living room. I'll do the rest myself. Li Fan took another shower before putting on a pair of underwear and walking out. In the end, a handsome blonde man was sitting on the sofa in the living room. He was looking at a small mirror and trimming his nose hair. Li Fan looked at him and was silent for a while. Sir, you're out. This handsome little brother was wearing a leopard print leather coat, showing a different kind of sexy and enchanting feeling. How do you want to play? Do I fuck you or you fuck me? The veins on Li Fan's forehead twitched. What do you mean, isn't this the service that you've booked? The handsome man blew a kiss at Li Fan. Don't worry. I'm waiting for you. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied. A minute later, the bruised blonde man was thrown out of the room. Li Fan called William and flew into a rage. Mr. Li. I see that you're not interested in women. I thought you liked men. Yes, I like men, but I'm not interested in ordinary people. When you come, I'll fuck your ass until it's rotten. On the other side of the phone, William subconsciously covered his buttocks. I'm not into that, get lost. If I'm not into women, how could I like Lu Wan er? You idiot. You're right. William reacted. Then I'll arrange 2 pretty girls for you. Fuck off. I'm here to look for Wan not to mess around with women. If you make any more arrangements, I'll fuck your ass. Yes, yes, yes. I understand, Mr. Li. Then have a good rest. I won't disturb you anymore. William also wanted to slap himself a few times. How could he have forgotten about this? He didn't expect that a capable person like Mr. Li would be so devoted to Lu Wan I'm so envious of Wan to have a man like him. William sighed and put down the phone. Everything was ready. All that was left was to wait for tomorrow. Chapter 1259. William. You filthy bastard, where did you run off to? The next day, as soon as Li Fan was picked up by William, he heard a familiar roar coming from outside. Listen, he's here. William smiled. Mr. Li, I'll trouble you to stand at the side and pretend to be my blood thrall. As he spoke, William handed over the syringe. Li Fan nodded. Everything was for Lu Wan He stood beside the sofa and injected the syringe into his body. William's blood was temporarily effective. Li Fan felt that the sunlight outside was slightly dazzling, and it was accompanied by waves of inexplicable hunger. William had said that when one pretended to be a blood thrall, they would temporarily possess the same characteristics as vampires. Although they were not afraid of sunlight and could not drink blood, they would have this feeling out of nowhere. If one were to describe it, it could be described as a kind of immersive simulation of vampires. Simulating vampires. The corner of Li Fan's mouth rose slightly. Interesting. He threw away the syringe and stood at the side like a statue. William picked up the tray and wine and placed them in Li Fan's hands. Since he was a blood thrall, it was better to pretend to be one. The door of the villa was kicked open and Sam, with a bald head, rushed in aggressively. "William, are you making a fool of me?" Sam cursed the moment he entered. "You actually said you got Alba's head. It's only been a day, how did you get it, you bastard? If I find out that you're using someone else's head as a disguise, I'll twist your head off." He only glanced at Li Fan and ignored him. Vampires had a natural sense towards blood thralls. "Don't be impatient." William was unhurried. He reached out, picked up a glass box from under the table, and placed it on top. Sam's eyes widened when he saw it. It really was Alba. "How did you do it?" Sam was about to come over and take the head, but William raised his foot and put it on top of the head. "Sorry, Sam. I killed Alba, so naturally I'll hand him over to the Grand Duke." "Filthy guy, I think you're crazy." Sam was enraged. He waved his hand and whipped a crimson whip at William. If it was the old William, he would definitely have been beaten up by him. But it was different today. William had evolved, and his power had increased tremendously. William stretched out his hand and grabbed the whip. Sam was shocked. He pulled the whip, but it didn't budge. Sam only had the strength of an earl, so he was naturally helpless against a marquis who was a rank higher than him. When did you, kneel?" With a tug from William, Sam stumbled and fell to his knees in front of him. "I'm a 6th-generation blood kindred." "How dare you, a 7th-generation blood kindred, be so rude to me? Don't you know the rules?" William's words had become more forceful. Sam knelt there, not daring to make a sound. William and Lou Warner belonged to the 6th generation because they were born from the 5th generation. Sam was a 7th-generation blood kindred. He was transformed from a 6th-generation blood kindred. Therefore, his status should be lower than William's. But in the Parker family, there were strict requirements for transformation. Blood kindred could only marry members of the opposite sex, then have children and transform them. Sam was the son of a 6th-generation blood kindred and another blood kindred. Although he was born earlier than William, seniority was seniority, and it couldn't be changed. "Sam, for the sake of my family, I didn't want to argue with you. But you're getting more and more outrageous. It's already reached a point where I can't stand it anymore." I'm sorry, my lord." "I'm sorry." Sam knelt there and apologized profusely. "Now tell me, who should hand over this head?" "Naturally, it's the great you." Sam hurriedly said, "Please hand it over. This is your credit." "Yes, that's right. But it's okay. I'm different from you. I'm a person who knows how to share. Come with me. Let's go see the Grand Duke. I'll share the credit for the information with you." "Thank you so much. You're the best." Sam's face was full of gratitude. "All right, let's go. I don't want to delay for too long." William glanced at Li Fan's eyes. "Mr. Li must be feeling anxious. I'm almost done with it. It's time to move. My car is outside." Sam immediately fawned, "I'll be your chauffeur." "Very good. Let's go." William let go of the whip and stood up. He picked up a bottle of wine from the plate that Li Fan had been holding and said, "Come with me. Serve me well." "Yes, my lord." Li Fan obediently followed behind him, pretending to be a servant. "Perfect. You'll be the chauffeur," Sam ordered Li Fan. "Paw." William directly gave him a small slap. "He's my blood slave. What right do you have to order him around?" Sorry, my lord. I was wrong," Sam hurriedly apologized. "Drive. Don't make me say it twice." "Yes." Sam obediently went out to drive. William gave Li Fan a look. "It's already half done." "Yes, as long as we successfully enter Grand Duke Peter's fortress, I'll be able to find Lil Wan." Li Fan's eyes were indeed filled with eagerness. "I'm worried that she'll suffer." "Yes, let's go now." The two left the villa. A large American truck was parked outside. "Your Sam has quite a unique taste," Li Fan could not help but mutter. "He's still young." William laughed. "He's only in his 50s. He's still a child among the blood breeds. Aren't you only 30? The environment I grew up in is different." William had a bitter look on his face. "In the environment I grew up in, a short 30 years is like a lifetime." "All right, don't say everything when we're in the truck. You were a bit too proud just now," Li Fan reminded William. "I understand what you mean, Mr. Li." William bowed at him. "I respect you, but you don't know the rules of the blood breeds. Among the blood breeds, the strong are respected. If I don't show a corresponding amount of pride, he won't listen to me." "All right, I understand." Li Fan nodded. "Let's go. Don't let the driver wait too long." The two sat in the large truck. Li Fan found that it was quite spacious inside. He heard that large trucks were also cultured in the United States. However, Li Fan did not know much about this. He obediently sat in the front seat next to Sam. After driving for about an hour, Li Fan felt that they had already left the city. They seemed to have come to a mountainous area. Through the thick mountain fog, Li Fan could vaguely see the spire of an ancient castle. Chapter 1260. The huge castle of the Parker family. According to William, this castle had been standing here since the War of Independence and had a history of hundreds of years. The castle was also covered with plants, giving off an ancient aura and a vigorous vitality. Li Fan muttered in his heart. It was hard to imagine that a vampire who liked to live in the dark would live in such a sunny and lively place. William's eyes were filled with an indescribable complicated light. He had left this place for a long time. The car drove down the mountain, crushing the fallen leaves along the way. It slowly drove to the vicinity of the castle along the small road. In front of them was a huge iron gate with hollow bats carved on it. On the pillars on both sides of the gate, there was a stone gargoyle sitting cross-legged. They looked ferocious as if they were waiting to devour passers-by. "I haven't been to Parker Castle for many years." William sat in the back and looked at the huge castle. "The last time I came here was more than 20 years ago. Time flies, doesn't it? You're a marquis now. If you want to come, you can come anytime." Sam hurriedly flattered, "This is your home after all." "Is that so?" William did not comment. He crossed his arms, leaned back, and did not say a word. And Li Fan saw that when the car stopped in front of the gate, the ruby-like eyes of the two gargoyle statues seemed to light up. Then, the gate slowly opened to both sides, like a bat slowly opening its wings. The area inside the castle was not small. It was like a small kingdom inside. To be able to have such a castle in the territory of America, it could be seen that the Parker family was rich and overbearing. "Sir," When the car drove along the road of the castle for a while, Sam suddenly asked. Your blood thrall also wants to go in with us. He's an Asian, it's just a blood thrall, it doesn't matter. William took out the tone of the Parker family. Aren't these people suitable to be our slaves? What you said makes sense. Sam suddenly came to a realization and gave a thumbs up. You're still far-sighted. As expected of the Parker family's marquis. Stop flattering and hurry up and drive. Yes, we're here. The truck drove for more than a minute before stopping in front of a huge castle. The ancient castle was connected to a row of tall stairs that led down from the top. Li Fan glanced at it. Good Lord, just this door alone was as tall as a 3-story building. The Parker family was quite extravagant. On both sides of the flight of steps, there were statues of knights standing one after another. Every knight held a large sword with both hands, as if they were guardians. They stood there, protecting the ancient castle. This is Grand Duke Parker's Dawn Castle. William alighted from the carriage and looked at the huge ancient castle in front of him. His heart was filled with endless emotions. The last time I left this place was a long time ago. Now that I see you, you still haven't changed much. Honorable Marquis, I have finished speaking with the Grand Duke. He is already waiting for you. Sam put down his phone and bowed to William. Lead the way. William waved his hand and Sam immediately led the way, leading the two of them up the tall stairs. Li Fan observed for a while. Each step was very high, with a distance of 20 centimeters between the top and bottom. If an ordinary person were to walk up, they would probably be unbearably tired. However, none of the three of them were ordinary people. It could even be said that none of them were human. The three of them climbed up the stairs and stood in front of the door. The door of the ancient castle slowly opened to both sides with the sound of stone sliding. Li Fan also saw the scene in the ancient castle. The castle was covered with a red carpet and both sides were classical European decorations. It made Li Fan mistakenly think that he had returned to 15th century Europe. It seemed that this Grand Duke Peter was still a nostalgic person. There were almost no people in the castle. Only some servants were cleaning the castle. A man sat on a throne at the head. He wore a black suit and seemed to be bored to death as he held his chin. This man had an extraordinary aura. Although he looked young, it was unknown how old he was because he was a blood breed. The man watched as they walked in and stood in front of him. Greetings, Grand Duke. The two blood breeds bowed slightly to the man. Li Fan followed suit. It was not the time to shed all pretense of cordiality. He would observe for a while first. If William wanted to sit in this position, it would take more than just violence. Li Fan had asked William before. If he wanted to become the new head of the family, he had to defeat the previous head of the family in front of the 10 elders. However, Peter had sat in this position for hundreds of years and was the only Grand Duke in these hundreds of years. His strength was second only to Prince Alfred. Among the blood breeds, only the first generation, Prince Alfred, had abdicated his position. The rest had to continuously defeat the previous generation. William, I heard that you have been promoted to Marquis. Peter's gaze fell and looked at William, which made William's heart tremble. After all, this was the Grand Duke of the Parker family. He was a high and mighty person. His bearing was not something that could be trained in a day and night. His cold gaze was always on William. He did not even look at Li Fan. This also made Li Fan feel at ease. He did not want the other to notice him first. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Li Fan also secretly observed this Peter Parker. He was Lu Wan-er's father. He was here to snatch his daughter. He definitely would not be kind. Yes, I just got promoted. Oh, although he is a bastard, he has some ability. Peter praised somewhat arrogantly. Your father should be a little gratified. At least he didn't give birth to a useless person. Thank you for your praise, Grand Duke. Recently, the werewolves have been a little restless. You took Alba's dog head and taught them a lesson. Tell me, what reward do you want? Reporting to Grand Duke, I don't want any reward. I just want a chance. William finally raised his head and looked at Grand Duke Peter. What? I want a chance to challenge. Oh. Peter's eyebrows slightly moved as he looked at William. You are quite ambitious. A mere marquis wants to challenge me. Yes, please give me this chance. If you want to challenge me, just Alba's head is not enough. Peter said slowly, how about this? I have a mission now. If you can complete it well, I will give you this chance. Li Fan laughed in his heart. This Peter was quite awesome. William was actually not qualified to challenge him. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.